Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time in 2025. It's the Premier Endurance League GT3 Limiteds. This is the grand finale for everything Premier Endurance related. And I can tell you, by the way, it's my brother's birthday today. I know he's not listening, but happy birthday, Brent, regardless. Either way, I don't know how you put up with me for this long, but congratulations to him on getting a little bit older and his family as well. But so the gift for the rest of us that I'm giving him is the lack of my presence this evening. He doesn't have to put up with me. The rest of you guys absolutely do. 2 hours worth of GT3 racing from Fuji Speedway, and it's the trip to Japan that's gone on over the last 2 rounds. The big talking point tonight is we're going to crown ourselves a champion. And the Challenger class is looking pretty well sorted. It's not defined. It's not guaranteed. There will be some dialing and some dealing to be done before the end of the session. But the elite class is the one where all the marbles are on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 hours worth of racing here tonight from Fuji Speedway. And Hamish, that championship battle is going to be an awesome one.
Oh, it really, really is, Scott. It feels like a freshly cooked Sunday roast for us. It makes your mouth water at the thought of what this battle is going to be like tonight around Fuji. It's a fantastic racing circuit, of course. 2 weeks or 2 rounds in a row we've been here in Japan. Mategi last time out, well, that offered us up a whole heap of spanners in the works. From the rain and then the changing conditions, it was an absolute blast last time out. And then tonight at Fuji, it's going to be a similar case. The points are incredibly close. It's been a long season. It's been a tough season too. And on the final day of 2025 for PEL, we're going to crown ourselves a champion. And I've got goosebumps, Scott. I've got goosebumps. I've only been here for 4 or 5/6 of the season, missed round 1, but any of them can win it. Trent Allen, Isaac Curtis, John Trott, they're all within a chance. Buchanan and Coates mathematically can win as well. And right now, you'd have to say, Scott, the man with the biggest hill to climb is probably John Trott because of those ARTT cars that he has to face to try and win the championship tonight.
Yeah, that's the big thing, isn't it? Out of those 5 drivers, they're in with a shot of championship contention. Trent Allen, Isaac Curtis, Will Buchanan, Brad Coates, all teammates at Revolution eRacing. John Trott is the one outside of that pairing on behalf of the One Performance Racing or OPR groupings. And the thing is, he put in a strong showing last weekend in Open. The teammates put in a strong showing, of course, on a whole bunch of variety of different cars last weekend out at Fuji on board the Open. It's his opportunity to show what he's capable of tonight. And the challenge will be, at this point in time, Trent Allen does lead the way, but he only leads the way by 3 points. Have a look at the margin back to John Trott is 16 points from Isaac Curtis. Will Buchanan is a fair way back, and probably mathematically is going to rely on a fair bit of challenge. Brad Coates also, like we said, in the picture. That's the Championship 5. Again, Challenger class standings for that one. It's got nothing to do with, Elite standings. Again, I'm mixing things up, unfortunately, here tonight. It's the Challenger class as well. We'll have a look at overall at this point in time, because there's a little bit of back and forth between those drivers. This is actually what's happening from qualifying right now. And Isaac Curtis has managed to put the car on pole. Checkered flags out. So there will be still some opportunities for a couple of cars to try and set flying laps, but there's only a couple of them in the final sector. 17th spot, I believe, will be about Will Buchanan is on his final run to the start-finish line at the moment. Remember, he's in championship contention, currently sitting 17th on the timing board, so he will want to improve on that final lap. Sticks in a 1:39.047, which is actually his fastest lap of qualifying, only good enough to improve by 1 spot. Brad Coates will be in behind him in 17th spot. I think that is about the session signed, sealed, and delivered. Only a couple more drivers to cross that start-finish line. Right, so that is it, ladies and gentlemen, from qualifying. And we'll be underway with our gridding in just a few moments. But the challenge, Hamish, this racetrack, largely all about the straight line speed. A massively long start-finish straight, and that's the one. And that side of shot right there. That's looking back from pit lane towards the final corner, and Mount Fuji just behind that grandstand over to the right-hand side of that shot makes this a little bit of a picturesque location as well.
It's a location in which has known many moments throughout the history of racing. Most notably, I would say in the grand scheme of real world racing, probably obviously the end of the battle between James Hunt and Niki Lauda for the F1 World Championship. But even then, even some wild moments, some wild weather moments as well. The moment of between David Coulthard and Michael Schumacher as well over in Formula 1 too. It's a picturesque area. It's a wonderful racing circuit. This is the more difficult of the two layouts here. The only difference to them is there is a chicane at the beginning of the last sector. But it's a track that will offer up a heap of challenges, and I think across the lap, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 sections that the drivers are going to have to be careful of. I mean, turn 1, after such a long straight, under brakes, that's going to be a test for them as well. The beginning of the second sector, after the very long right-hander into the very hard braking zone, is going to be a test as well. And then that chicane at the start of the third sector, that is also going to be a test for them too. Often at times, drivers can make mistakes, especially on colder tyres. Strategy tonight's going to be key. Keeping yourself in the clean air is going to be key as well, but also keeping yourself out of battles tonight is going to be key too. It's a big test. It's a different style of racing that needs to be taken at Fuji, but it's one that will be very rewarding if you can put a complete lap together. As the warm-up session begins and drivers head out there, we prepare for tonight, Scott, for warfare between the elite drivers and as they try and win themselves a championship. It's going to be tough. It's going to be, again, goosebump stuff. I mean, I'm getting shivers down my spine as I say it because it's exciting stuff. And Fuji, I think, is a track that is very overlooked. It's a track that can offer up great racing. And I think with these drivers tonight, we're going to get some cracking racing. And I don't think we're going to know who the champion is until the end of that final lap. I think it's going to go the whole way.
Well, I think pit strategy is going to come into it. We're sort of looking a little bit at the weather at the moment. When you mentioned weather, I went, you know what? I probably should have a little bit of a look at the forecast for the race as well. And I did. I brought the session information up. Do you want to know the best part about that session information? About an hour and 10 minutes into the race, all of a sudden there's this big potential band of cloud cover that moves through for about 20 minutes. So I think what we saw would be quite similar to the last round at Motegi as well, whereby we saw rain come through, but tyres were up to temperature and they maintained their temperature. So what I think will happen is I don't think we're ever going to get across to a wet tyre tonight, but there might be an opportunity where you might see pace actually go away. We might see a couple of puddles form, and puddles largely have been the big issue for the class. And just the way the weather model's working and the way that ponds and everything form, this will be another interesting. I wish we could have stuck with that shot for just a few extra moments, because pit lane entry is another interesting part here. There is an opportunity to actually cross over a couple of the white lines at pit lane entry. You can pick yourself up speeding penalties, and the critical one is unsafe pit lane entry penalties on the way into pit lane, because there are white lines on that racetrack. You can cross them, but you can only cross them with half the car.
Yeah, I mean, it's pit entry here and pit entry penalties are probably one of the most notable things about Fuji, one of the most notable factors we've dealt with since it first came into the iRacing service. So drivers are going to have to be very, very careful at tonight. I think that is going to be a major factor tonight as well. Another factor I want to talk about, something that we spoke about last time out at Motegi, is the new tyre model that's now been applied to the Corvette. How is that now going to affect its performance tonight? This is the first time for the Limited Series, and in fact the first time in the new season, that the GTs are running with the new tyre on them. And how are those Corvettes going to go? Can Tom Wilkinson, who had great pace last week, did very, very well in that Corvette, how much more of a rocket ship could that car be? Because what I've seen this previous week over the GT races I've called is, even though it's great on its warm tyres, they warm up a lot quicker now, it's still a car that you need to know how to set it up to make it fast. So if they can set it up, it can be a rocket ship. If they can't, it can still be a handful. I wonder how that's going to suit, though, those couple of Corvette drivers in the field tonight, namely Richard Mayer and Tom Wilkinson, the only 2 Corvette drivers in the entire field.
Well, yeah, it's an important point to note. So for those of you watching along at home that probably haven't kept up to date with a lot of the iRacing stuff, we are in the middle of week 13 at the moment. As of Tuesday, that will kick over to iRacing Season 1 2026. Now, you'll probably be all looking at the calendar and going, but Scott, it's still 2025. And indeed it is. It's just the way that iRacing sort of works. We actually had a leap season in last year at the end of 2024.
For the leap year. So we had a 14th week in season 4, wasn't it?
Yeah. We had the extra week tagged on just to sort of push us back out to truncate timings. The reason that they sort of push these updates over Christmas is, again, that they need to get them out. The critical point is one of the biggest events of the year is actually Daytona 24, the back end of January. They need an opportunity to get things tested in time for that. So that's why we do see that update come a little bit earlier than Christmas in terms of things. So there is that element of it. The big element that is a part of that as well is that Corvette drivers coming in here. What's happened to the car? Yes, it's tyre warm-up that's been affected. The big note for the Corvette was that tyres were taking 4 to 5 laps to warm up, whereas every other GT3 sort of good by about lap 3. So you weren't sort of seeing the best out of the car until a lot longer into the stint, and it was keeping tyre temperatures lower. So long run pace on the Corvette was actually quite good. The Lamborghini, however, is actually the opposite way. It fires its tyres up just about immediately. So it's very strong at the start of a stint and then fades quite quickly because those tyres heat up a little bit too much too early and go off. We'll talk more about these topics in just a few moments, as well as the gridding process is about to go through, because we are going to get ready, and it's a short pacing lap here. So we're going to have to fire through the 48 cars, I believe we've actually got in operation here tonight. Actually, might be 47 cars for the grand finale. Again, phenomenal. We'll say a big shout out to everyone that's here, because 47 cars for a season finale is always a big note. Isaac Curtis is in championship contention. He's put it on pole position by 3.5 tenths of a second before we'll get back to teammate Trent Allen. And if Allen finishes there, it will be good enough for the title. Matt Webber will start off of row number 2, one of his best qualifying performances of the season. He looks like he's got a fair bit of speed on board that Ford. Luca Pozzo will start alongside of him. John Trott is going to need to show a whole turn of pace if he can steal this one. He sits 19 points back off the championship. And on the third row of the grid, Matt Schmicke will line up alongside. James Mason from Bobby Camo are going to be inside of the top 10, and Root Koistra and Brock Kadai are the last cars inside of the 10. And the first row outside of the 10 will be Luke King from Richard Mayer. Mayer led laps back at Watkins Glen just due to safety car opportunities. Took an opportunity to lead laps, didn't work out for him. Tom Wilkinson managed to set a quicker lap right at the back end of the session. Actually, I think it might have been Austin Edwards who snuck in the middle of himself and Peter Baxter. Baxter steps out of the commentary box, steps onto 15th row on the grid, and he's actually the lead of the cars for the Challenger class here tonight. Will Buchanan will start off alongside of him. Brad Coates is going to need to do a lot alongside of Will Buchanan to try and win the championship. They won't be able to win it from there. Kurt Chapman will be the first of our regular entries for the Challenger class. Matt Nehalland from John Akers, Adrian Gretsch, Patrick Red, and Bell Wilkes and Alfonso Latella, the top 24. That's the front half of the field. The back half of the field, though, Ben Brook from Trent Stapleton, Chris Ruddle, Speed Autosport car, will be looking for some speed. Carries number 56. That used to be my racing number. Do well tonight, Chris, if you can. Ben Gringe, Isaac Norman, Jamie Saxon, Rodney Golan, Matt Carrick, Dale Atkins, Greg Heaney, Ronald Long, Stephen Mellis. We're just about getting set to go out of the last corner, which means we're getting set for a race start. So we'll fire through these. Glenn Jones from, I think that's Dean Hunt, out of 38 spot. Fozzie will be out of 39. Matt McCamley from 40th. McMenamin, Coburn, Brent Tucker, Owen Coleman, Jacob Hughes not setting a lap time, Brendan O'Loughlin, Ricky Provenzali, PJ Whiteman to come from the rear of the field. And I believe that is all of the times here tonight. Our regular safety car drivers, usually Scott Bartain. That role will be filled by Lachlan Cable at the back end of this one tonight. The final race for Premier Endurance for 2024. Will Santa be bringing a race win and potentially a championship down the chimney? We'll find out 2 weeks ahead of Christmas for Premier Endurance League. And it's going to be the launch from the front row of the grid for the Dash Off-Road 4x4 Limited Series and the rundown at turn number 1. Curtis got a great getaway from Trent Allen. Capozza and Matt Webber are looking to challenge in behind. Here comes the BMW, who did receive some buff upgrades for John Trott. And he's going to try and make a dive at the apex to try and pick up a couple spots. Bobby Camo's made a phenomenal start. He's trying to sneak a couple spots away in the Mercedes as well. He's the first of the non-Ford Mustangs. Trott's lost a couple spots when they get down to turn number 1. And they all managed to survive. By the look of things, lap 1, there's a couple cars at the rear end of the field that are slow getting off of turn 1, which is critical. And think about how wide this racetrack is and the challenge of navigating that on any restarts here tonight.
Well, every car has gotten away relatively cleanly, as there's already a big dive in towards turn 5, and it's Root Koistra who's been made contact with by one of those Corvettes, and it's now a parking lot down there. Multiple cars have been caught up. 3 cars spun round. Koistra is one of them. I believe Ben Wilkes is another, and Martin Hallinan as well. So those 3 will be licking the wounds at the end of that one.
Oh, there's another car going around.
Oh my God, it is getting hairy, and it's getting tough.
It was Luke King, who he made contact with.
Yeah. Oh, and it's John Trott's off the road as well.
Oh no, that's not good. And then he goes around the Lamborghini. There's a lot of action on lap number 1. Cold tyres are a big thing here. That was a car trying to rejoin was Luke Capozzo, who just tried to feed back into the traffic. They'll look at that not too kindly as well. The chaos unfolds on lap number 1. Everyone's trying to scramble and find a little bit of racing room if they possibly can. At the moment, there's a lot of guys looking to find spots. Ben Brooks gained 10 spots. Luke Capozzo's down 13. Foster's up 11. Provenzali's up 12. Those are the big winners. On
we've got a problem now.
Who's managed to try and make a getaway. Yeah, go ahead.
We've got a problem now. Matt Carrig of Riot Sim Racing has got a meatball flag. The rear of his car on the rear left is completely disconnected from the wheel, so he's struggling to get that thing back to pit lane at the moment. He was caught up in some of that scrambling on lap 1 as another's gone round now as well. So this is really hairy stuff here. And I think for a lot of these drivers, Provenzali's in. He's coming down the back straight now, so he'll be able to get it into pit road as Richard Mare's off as well. So early scrambling of cars, getting involved in these incidents. It's important now, Scott, for them just to let the tyres get up to temp, settle themselves into a rhythm, and try and stay out of trouble, because it's getting hairy for a lot of them out there right now. An early spin is not a death sentence necessarily, but it's one that's going to put you on a back foot very quickly. Yeah, just be careful. Make sure that you mind your P's and Q's. The thing, you can lose a lot in the opening stages of the race. You can't win it. You can set yourself up to win the race, but you cannot do that if you don't have a car underneath you. In the meantime, this is the 571 machine who's trying to hang on to a place at the moment. Matt Schmidtke is going to go racing with Jamie Saxon in the Ferrari. Just tried to go down the inside of him at the hairpin at the end of the back straight. That didn't necessarily work. Robbie Gollan was just ahead of him trying to make some spots. Curtis leads by 0.7 of a second. He's taken Allen and Webber with him. Bobby Camo's managed to make his way through to 4th spot. There's a car that just massively got airborne. It was the Mercedes there. I think it was Chris Ruddle on board the Sud Speed Mercedes at about 22nd spot. But he made that Mercedes. I didn't know Mercedes was into motocross bikes. Well, they've
BMW make them.
Well, I mean, Mark Webber at one point took a Mercedes airborne at one point. Scott, so maybe prototype. Chris Ruddle's. It was a prototype. It was still a Merc though. Technically a Sauber, but still. 3 wide down towards turn 1 as Jamie Saxon's trying to go up the inside. Got the job done on Latea and there. On Ruddle and Schmidtke. So now he pushes on. By
the way, one thing we didn't talk about in the pre-show that we wanted to was who's leading the way in Challenger. It's Adrian Gretsch. And dear God, I hope they put enough fuel in that car, because he would love to win a championship here. He's been around since the very, very earliest days of the series. So we'll have to try and keep an eye on Gretsch. He's 109 points to the good over Greg Heaney at the moment, 177 points over Kurt Chapman in that battle for the top 3. So all Gretsch, I think, needs to do tonight is survive, and he will win. But he's been in and amongst the thick of it on lap 1. He's in 19th spot at the moment. Whoa, there's a Mustang. Gee whiz. 5-second time penalty, car 96 on lap number 1. Now, I thought that was Jacob Hughes' racing number. I might be mistaken. It is Jacob Hughes. So something happened to him on lap 1 he was involved with.
I mean, there's probably about 10 cars that are involved in something, I think, on lap 1. So very easily he could have snuck in. But, yeah, we know there was a heap of stuff. And a lot of cars could be looking at either penalties or damage needing to be fixed. McMenamin and Carrig have got black flags. They've just served them in pit lane, by the way. So those guys are getting themselves sorted at the moment too. Isaac Curtis leads the way, sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:38.64, as Owen Coleman has just gone off at the back end of the field as well. So it's still struggle street for some drivers as they continue on. And Brock Caddy, who currently sits at the back end of the top 10, he got it airborne a little while ago, and now he's just trying to push on as best he can with Will Buchanan in behind him. Luke King, he's on the back end of this little train as well, with Brad Coates just in behind him. So this has been a bit of a struggle early, but it seems, Scott, that they've gotten into their rhythm at this point now, as Reardon continues to battle away here with Luke Capozzo.
I think one of the things that, I wonder if our producer actually might be able to do it, is stick a banner over those 5 that are in the championship contention, just so you can keep an eye on them. We all know that they're in the elite class. So, but remember, it's Isaac Curtis who leads the way. Trent Allen sits in second. And how about Pete Baxter, actually? We were geeing him up prior to the race. We were sitting in here going, oh, yeah, we're going to absolutely able to give Pete some elbows and really tease him and give him hell tonight. Pete's in 7th.
He's done a great job as well. And hats off to Pete. He's survived the early onslaught. Probably helps that he's been racing in split tour vets last season, which was a little bit chaotic for him at times. So he is obviously learning week in and week out on how to avoid some of these incidents. But he's done well. He's kept his car clean. He's put it up into P7. He's got 12 positions, or 10 positions, sorry, back to Isaac Norman. He's sitting in a pretty comfortable position right now, Scott. And he, this is going to give him some bragging rights if he can finish where he is tonight. I know there's a long way to go in this race. If he can finish around that point, that far ahead of the other Challenger drivers, think about how much he is going to let them know about it in the comms box next season. That is going to be a reminding factor to all of them that Pete Baxter can be the real deal when he's on the road, and he's firing on all cylinders as John Trott just gets by him. But Pete's smart. He doesn't need a battle, John. He knows John's in a championship battle. He's out there for a fun race tonight out at Fuji, and I think for Pete, he's worrying about just trying to keep some bragging rights about him.
I think more than that, Pete will be thinking big picture as well. He's quite good at that.
He's a very, very smart driver. He will play the waiting game. He knows he doesn't need a battle right now. He's got a good, smart head on his shoulders in terms of knowing that. Oh my God! It's ironic we say that as Luke King is pressuring like it's the final lap of the race on Will Buchanan, but
he doesn't know. He has no idea that Will Buchanan's actually in a championship battle at this point in time. Yep. Will we trying to just disincentivize it? It's not saying don't go down the inside, but if you're going to be down the inside, be good about. And Luke will certainly be thinking about having a go at him. Worthwhile pointing out as well, the BMW actually got some love in the patch. I believe it got a slightly adjusted torque curve, and I don't know whether or not. I believe it's gained a little bit beefier pickup through the middle of the range. I think it's actually picked up a higher RPM red line as well. So it will be a fair bit better. Tom Wilkinson's going to jump into the pit lane nice and early.
That would be why. He's got a penalty for causing an incident on lap 1. So 15-second time penalty. I mentioned that there was a Corvette earlier on who caused an incident on lap 1, and it appears that Tom Wilkinson was the one that caused it. So this is the incident that happened. So he had Richard Mayer ahead of him as they were battling away. Oh, it's very, very close. It's very, very close. A little bit too close for comfort. And that's why.
What I wouldn't be happy about if I was in his shoes as well was he got squeezed off the road.
Yeah.
So you would be sitting there and thinking, hey, I'm entitled to a little bit of space here. And then Luke King squeezed him again. So Wilkinson's actually going to jump in and get his pit stop out. And the thing will be, in the race at large, there will be a splash that you will need to do at some point in time. So he's done that early. And the reason he's done that early is because he just wants to get that out of the way. And he thinks he's got really, really good long run pace. But completing the pass is a major issue. And that's the thing about Fuji is you pass somebody and then they just draft you straight back down the straight, or you just can't really show the pace that you're capable of.
We're giving him too much credit. He left his qualifying set on the car, Scott. Yep, you have given Tom way too much credit. He
was out of fuel.
Yep. Which it does offset him a little bit, so I suppose it's a good strategy by proxy. But yeah, I mean, he's offset himself now. He'll be out of, for the majority of the stint, in fact, he's going to be out of sync. So he's going to be in clean air. He'll be able to push on a little bit. He obviously does have a bulk time penalty next to his name, as Owen Coleman's also got one too for another lap 1 incident. So race controller right onto it. But yeah, just trying to keep himself offset, maybe trying to build up some gap. The worst thing that could happen to Tom now is a safety car at any point in this race. He'll want as much gap as possible, spreading the entire field so he doesn't drop as many positions as what maybe he would if the whole field was tightly compacted together again. If there's a safety car late, that's it, it's done. There's no way he can build up a 15-second gap, but if they can spread themselves out across the 2 hours, he could possibly still pick up a top 10 if he could finish at the front end of the field.
Yeah. And somebody also jumping out in chat and saying, I'd love to see Rue win one for his great mate Dave Roberts. And we did highlight Dave a couple of weeks ago back at Motegi. And again, thoughts are still with Dave and the family, particularly Rue. Dave and Rue worked together for a number of years. So the fact that there was an opportunity to give Dave a fair bit of a shout out and try and look after him. Unfortunately, though, for Rue, after being rotated.
Sorry, Scott, there's a car on its roof. There is a car on its roof. It is Jesse McMenamin at the back
right
end of the
there.
field. Yeah, right there. I'm so
That'll be a
sorry to
safety
interrupt
car.
you with that.
No. Go right ahead. That will be a safety car.
Because I know that was obviously a very heartfelt message that was going out, but how is... Oh, my God.
So up and over the anti-cut sausage curbs. And you can see him desperately trying to grab gears. Safety car's going to be deployed. So it's the first safety car of the race.
Now, if only it was like other, in quotes, video games out there, Scott, if we just turned the wheel off, it would roll the car over for him. But unfortunately, he is stuck the wrong side up and might have a bit of a headache right now. A couple of cars coming in pit lane, by the way. Saxon, Golan, Koistra, Foster, Latea, Jones, Reddit, Wilkes, Tucker, Hallinan, Atkins, Hughes, Coleman, Coburn. Safety car is out on track, or it's coming out on track at the moment. Lachlan Capel is just waiting to bring it out on the road for us. So multiple cars coming into pit lane on that one there. But yeah, early safety car in this race. It's going to offset a lot of drivers now. And for Wilkinson, he's going to come into pit lane again to get another free pit stop out of this race, Scott. So he's going to try and offset himself a little bit more just to try and get a bit of extra fuel in the car.
I think for the race leaders, it'd be really, really interesting just to see what they elect to do in terms of strategy, because there is a benefit that can be gained here. And the thing for Isaac Curtis is he was just starting to set sail a little bit on everyone. But yeah, he just couldn't really do all that much. But all of a sudden he's got a 2-second lead. The problem is that his teammate Trent Allen would have just been sitting there and just fuel saving off of him, which is generally the smart thing to do if you can't punch away and you can't get out of there.
Well, Matt Webber is trying to offset himself now by coming into pit lane as well. Those front runners are staying out though. Edwards and Baxter are now in too, so very interesting. It's different strategies here, Scott. I mean, I don't see a world in which there's enough safety cars tonight that they could do it on less than the allocated amount of stops we would expect them to take, which on average is
3.
4.
Yeah,
Three.
Look, we're expecting 4. 3 is potential. If we get one more safety car, 3 is a possible, but you've also got to remember there's a bunch of guys that take the fuel.
Yeah.
So
it's, you know, it's a bit of a dice roll, I suppose, to not take the free stop, but they're also probably thinking, let's keep track position. We don't know what's going to happen in this race. There is a possibility we can still remain here at the end. And I think the best place that they can put themselves is at the front end of the field, because it's been likely the safest part of the whole field throughout this race. I do have a question about tonight's layout for you though, Scott, because I do have an opinion about it. I am a preferer of the non-chicane layout of Fuji. Oh my God.
Something happened that ricocheted that. Can we get another shot of that again?
Oh my God, yeah, that's Jacob, who's just had a moment there as contact, or is he's breaking down completely.
He's been hit twice.
Yeah.
How's
I don't understand how.
I'm curious how he picked up the penalty. Anyway, this will be so this was Ruddle down the inside. So it was both Corvettes on lap 1 that were into other people. And there goes Tom Wood. And that was where Rip got bowled wide. But check.
Yeah.
Was it lap 2 for Wilkinson? No, it wasn't.
No, it was lap 1. It was directly following that incident with Mayer and Wilk with Mayer and Koistra. So this is the one with Mayer onto Koistra that's then spun him around. And then if we try and follow Wilkinson for the next corner, that's them when Wilkinson's incident happens as well. And it's just a car park down there. Yeah. It's expensive to park in the cities of Japan. I don't know how expensive it would be near Mount Fuji. I'm assuming they would have the tourism tax based on their car parks. And Mount Fuji as Tucker.
That was cold tyres.
Yeah. Cold tyres seem to have been still a factor tonight at the start of this race, but then of course a little bit of cold brain as well for some other drivers too. It's just it's a very weird one of how this race has gone about, but multiple penalties have become in the way of other drivers. They've already handed out some. Wilkinson's waiting to see if he gets a wave around here.
He will.
Yeah.
Stefan Mellis will also get away by Matthew Carrick. Kurt Chapman is not in the race server at the moment.
No, he dropped out after an incident on lap 1, I think, which is a unfortunate issue there for Kurt. Again, he's been on a development cycle for his driving ever since leaving Project 36, trying to learn more about obviously sports car racing and the GT car. He's found a little bit of minor success in the Porsche Cup as of late, and as well previously in some NASCAR racing too. So, Kurt's on a bit of a self-discovery right now.
Kurt's in the race session. Kurt hasn't left the race session. His car's just not out on track. He's done one lap.
Parked up.
But he's only 177 points off potentially winning a championship, but he does need chaos to fall the way of a stretch.
He is 13 minutes down now on the race leader, so
that's the problem. He won't get that back. So unfortunately, for Kurt, gone wrong for him. Unfortunately, tonight we'll take him out of contention.
Yeah.
I believe waiver rounds are now in progress, so we should get ourselves ready. We'll probably be racing at the back end of this lap. So I'm seeing 4 cars have taken the weight by, which is what I was expecting. So Jesse McMenamin, Matthew Carrick, Stefan Mellis, and I believe Tom Wilkinson.
Oh, Fuji, as good of racing circuit as it is, we've had some quite good racing early on in this race. We've had a lot of chaos early as well, Scott. I'm getting the vibes at the moment. This is feeling like it's going to be a race of 2 halves. I feel like the first half we're going to be in for the chaos, and the second half we're going to be in for long runs. That's the kind of sort of vibe I'm getting off the race at the moment. But what an end to the championship it is. It is pure main event level stuff. I mean, 4 of the... all 5 of them actually. Now I looked at it. 5 of the top 5 are in the top 10 at the moment. And only 3 of them are in the top 5 at this stage. Curtis, Allen and Trott, Buchanan and Coates have got a little bit of work to do to get up to Trott at the moment. But there is going to be some team play from Revolution E-Racing with Bobby Camo sitting in P3 at the moment. He'll be playing the rear gunner for Allen and Curtis when Trott tries to get up to the back of him. James Mason's in there and Brock Caddy as some little X factors as well. But what will the restart bring us as they bring us through the final chicane and up towards the final corner? It's been chaos early in the first 20 minutes, Scott. We've already had 1 safety car tonight. Will we get any more? As Fuji Speedway will light us up once again, and with a rolling restart, single file, who could possibly be the survivors and who could possibly find themselves in pit lane?
And the Sud Speed safety car has been called back to pit lane, ladies and gents. We will get ourselves more racing here in just a few moments with the opportunity for the Dash Off-Road Series to go green flag racing once more. Out of the final corner, and they've already gone as they hurtle down towards turn number 1. Isaac Curtis maintains the race lead. Trent Allen will sit in P2 and will get the tow. Kenmo sits 3rd on the road. James Mason, John Trott, your top 5. In terms of your championship standings, it's Allen from Curtis, from Trott, from Buchanan. So those front 2 will get the opportunity to race it out for a championship, and they will need to keep themselves on their toes. Big dive for Brock Caddy. And unfortunately, John Trott's gone for a spin at turn 1 in the BMW, so tyre temperature an issue for John Trott. He will now have a lot of work to do. That's probably enough to put a line through him here tonight. But for Caddy, he was trying to get down and past Will Buchanan. Didn't quite get there. Buchanan's going to try and fire it back up the inside. It looks like it's Caddy in the Mustang trying to go alongside. Brad Coates is in behind inside the top 10 as well.
Well, that there is a massive loss for John Trott. 21 positions now down from where he started this race. Scott, heap of time left in this race for him to get back into it. But right now, with Buchanan and Coates battling away with Caddy, they could get themselves into strife if they're not careful. Coates makes a bit of contact with Brock up into the chicane. And somehow they come out the other side. A little bit of a wiggle, though, from Brock on exit. And the battle continues on as he rides with Bobby Camo, the rear gunner for Revolution E-Racing, with James Mason hot on his heels. He'll be doing everything he can here just to defend the position and hold on to P3 as best he can. He's got a great run, though, as James Mason looks to get it done down the inside, down the straight. There's
another safety car.
Yep.
Jacob Hughes.
It's Jacob Hughes.
Yeah.
That car has taken a massive knock once again. And unfortunately for Packets, that could be race over.
Yeah, I think he's already burned his fast repair because he had a lot of damage on lap 1.
Yeah, multiple cars are in, by the way. Buchanan, Caddy, Coates, Reardon, Kapotza, Akers, Mayer. If you're John Trott, you've got to come into pit lane, but he's staying out at the moment. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. He hit a ghosted car. Well, like his hairline, that car disappeared, and unfortunately his car got completely destroyed. Did poor old Packets. No, it is the Porsche. It's the Porsche. Yep. So it's either the Porsche toes or he's had a blink. And I think he's just blinked, and that's why he's hit him.
No. It's a toe. It's a toe, and it's Rick Provenzale.
Rick Provenzale.
He's had a sim crash, I think, is why he's pulled over, because he's just dropped from the server. I think he's actually had a sim crash, and what's happened is he's lost all visibility, so he's just stopped. See how his car just goes dead straight, and he just stops? He's had a sim crash.
Yeah. That is heartbreak for Packets Hughes, unfortunately. He's back in pit lane with a meatball flag now. He's just been roasted in the chat. Oh, Packets, finding new and incredible ways to get retired. Unfortunate. Damn, I thought my hairline joke was a bit...
No, look, he's got skill. He does have skill. It's not in the speed department, but he does have skill. It is a unique skill. It's generally one that's not conducive to successful racing, but it is a skill.
He's got skill. He's a good co-host on the Sim Racing in Focus podcast. That's where his skill lies, I would say.
Good host. Ooh, he's a host.
I was going to say, he certainly hosts. He certainly speaks.
You know the other good fact about him? He's great to poke fun at. That's you know what? He takes it well. That's what he does well.
He does. Unless you're, unless you claim that Riot could be more.
You know what? He'd like to fly under the radar right now, and whilst talking about him's not helping.
No, it's not. It's not. He is walking away with his hand over his eyes and just like, oh, off I go.
He was never here. I didn't see. Did you see?
No.
He never showed up. Yeah.
I don't recall him being here.
I reckon that was Jimmy Middleton in that car.
I wonder how much of a talking point it will be on the next episode of that podcast with Dean.
Well, he won't be applying that talk to the rear wheels. That's for sure.
No, he definitely won't be. John Trott is going to come into pit lane now, by the way. So he's decided to come in, I think, and
if he's from the rear of the field, yeah.
Oh my God! Wait, is that?
That's a safety car.
Alfonso Latea. Alfonso Latea has just drilled the front of his own car. Oh my God!
There's a massive check up in the queue.
Yeah.
Somebody's basically come to a standstill.
This is oh my God. That car's gonna have to come back. It's gonna have to come back in now. Alfonso's gonna have to bring it back in to get it fixed.
I think it's been caused by John Trott pitting. So what's happened is they've all come off the last corner. There's a massive gap in the queue. So it's something to do... No, it's actually not. You know what? I went back and had a look. It's actually not got anything to do with John Trott. It happens...
It's very, very, very weird. This is very, very weird. Let's see.
It's Bobby Camaro.
It'll be when he enters pit lane. But, yeah, Bobby Camaro...
It's from Bobby Camaro. And Bobby Camaro is all of a sudden doing...
He's trying to hold people back.
No, he's not, because there's no reason. If he is, there's no reason to hold people back. But basically, what's going on, and this is why you need to pace at a consistent speed, is Bobby Camo in the safety car queue has dropped his speed to 65 kilometers an hour or 60 kilometers an hour at one point in time. The safety car queue is doing 80, and then all of a sudden he's taken off to catch the queue. So everyone's sped off to catch up, and then there's just been this massive concertina.
Oh my god, the back of that Ferrari.
Ben Goringe, I think.
Yeah, Ben Goringe.
And he'll have no idea the amount of damage.
Well, at least he's waving to people behind him. Well, I suppose it's a good windbreaker for him, Scott.
It's not going to help. It's not going to create downforce, though.
No, it's not. It's going to have a lot of drag, though. He's going to have to bring that thing in. That is one of the weirdest sets of damage I've ever seen, actually, on a Ferrari. My God. I see what's happened. It's the underside of the car. It's the diffuser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The clipping issue with that on the broadcast. Either way, that's so weird. Regardless, safety car is back in pit lane. The Speed safety car makes its return to the lane, and the green flag is back out. I'm just keeping an eye on James Mason's having a couple of connection issues at the front of the field at this point in time as well. And now he's going to try and get to the inside. Have a look at them. They're about 3 wide. It was Trent Allen who didn't get a good restart. Everyone else is trying to have a go at him. And I can tell you that James Mason's in the mix currently. Everyone's trying to figure out where he is at this point in time. The run down to turn number 1. 3 wide for second spot at this point in time. Mason got down the inside. Bobby Camo's trying to go around the outside. Ben Brook is there. And thereabouts. Trying to keep himself in contention. He's still there on the outside of Trent Allen, who's desperately trying to hang on to a spot.
That was smart by Trent. He just let him have it. He knew he was blinking like mad.
Yeah, he's got a championship. If he wasn't in for a championship, he would have contested that.
That's true, but James he's blinking like mad. And I'd say if James gets up to Isaac somehow, Isaac may just let him go as well, because he doesn't want him to affect his race and make contact with him. But I'm going to assume race control will get on the blower to him at some point and say you need to bring that into pit lane and get it fixed. As Baxter looks to go up the inside of Chris Ruddle. Can he get this job done for P2 in the Challenger class as they run it out of the chicane? But yeah, he's got to get that car into pit lane, because this is going to cause absolute havoc if he doesn't.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, there he goes.
That'll solve it.
Yep.
So that solves the problem regardless. The rear end of the McLaren's let go. And he's found a nice hole to get back through and across the racetrack at least, so he's not going to hold anyone else up. And that problem looks to have now resolved itself, but also dropped him a long way down the field. There's a breakaway of about the front 13 cars. At the moment, Foster's the one with the big gap in just ahead of him. So something went on ahead of either around Fozzie on that opening lap or just ahead of him. Pete Baxter's the first car who's pitted at this point in time and sits 5th on the road. He's going to try and have a crack. Have a look at the cars that are queuing up to have a go at each other on the run of the turn number 1. I think that was Austin Edwards who just had a dive down the inside of Chris Ruddle. Ruddle's still yet to make his first pit stop. Remember, they made an alternate strategy charge back at Watkins Glen earlier on in the season as well. And that'll be Luke King trying to go around the outside, as is Austin Edwards. Edwards will pick up a slowdown. I think King might have picked up one as well. Ruddle sweeps across the nose. Takes them both.
There was no sliding off it somehow. They track extended and didn't get one. But we were expecting it. There's Bobby Camo's gone round. So there goes the rear gunner for Allen and Curtis, who are now going to be at the pressure of Pete Baxter, who snuck past. Brembrook gives him a little kiss on the rear end. Somehow just says, on you go, old son. Try and get yourself a podium. My God, Pete Baxter. Oh, Scott, I've just realised something. What happens if Pete wins? We are never going to hear the end of it. We are never going to hear the end of it. Yeah, no.
We never have to talk to him.
Yeah.
Race results to be finalised. Quick, can somebody get race control on the blower and penalise Pete? Well, Finally, they're going to try and sort themselves out. The biggest benefit, though, for Isaac Curtis is he's managed to get clear at the front end. He's over a second clear now from Trent Allen. But both of them need to do some fuel saving because the man who is in one of the strongest positions in the field, because he's already made pit stop number 1, is Baxter. He's only 3 seconds behind. And with that second safety car, you know, I reckon there's only 2 more green flag stops left to go. We are half an hour through this race. Isaac Curtis and Trent Allen are probably about due for fuel in 5 to 10 minutes' time. They're in trouble now in terms of strategy. But the problem is, and I'll put this one to you, Hamish, you're at the front end of the race. Chaos happens when you pit and put yourself in the midfield. And we've seen that from just about everyone here tonight. So staying out's actually the safe move. When a safety car happens early on in the race, you don't want to be the leader because you can just get swallowed up by the strategy.
Yeah, I suppose that there's 2 sides of the coin of the strategy, isn't there? You're keeping yourself out of the midfield, where a lot of the chaos comes from by staying out and staying ahead. You're being able to save a little bit of fuel and offsetting the stop just a little bit. The key word is if they can make half an hour, then obviously it becomes 2 more stops to the end. Well, we're past an hour. We've got an hour and 27 minutes to go. We're past half an hour at this point. If they can go out to 40 minutes, it's going to offset it even more for them as well. So this is where the strategy comes into it. But if they can do it with only 2 stops, that's even better for them. But again, because they're going to have to pit so much earlier than the other cars, they are going to get put into the field as more and more chaos with Owen Coleman further back in this pack. But yeah, what the X factor of them racing around for 10 to 15 minutes in the midfield, what's that going to do to them? Not only getting held up by the traffic, but possibly making contact with them too. It could be a major factor in this race. But I know that Isaac and Trent are smart. They'll try and drive smart as well. I don't know if they're going to push it too hard at this point of the race.
Austin's got a bite out of it. Have a look at the front end of that car as well. So he's going to try and have to hang on to that one, and he's not got any pace in a straight line at the moment. Was that Jones? I think it might have been Jones. Jeez, it's tough to try and keep an eye on where these guys are at this point in time, just because have a look at how much they're swapping positions. It's Dale Atkins, that's on board of that Aston at this point in time. Wood Buchanan made a pit stop under that most recent speed safety car. He's now going to lean on Matt McCamley on his outside in the Mustang. He would desperately love to get clear, but he can't. Now can he try the switchback from the outside? No, he's going to go the long way around. Now he's going to have to go the longer way around, but if he can stand there and stay there, he should have drive off. He wasn't able to hang around there. Can that new torque curve for the BMW start to provide some legs? He's going to force McCamley to block him all the way to the inside of the racetrack. McCamley might be a shot deep. He's very narrow as they get down to the hairpin, but he's managed to cover him off. Buchanan does not want to get raced for these spots.
No, he doesn't. He wants to try and fight his way through as cleanly as possible. Caddy's not making it easy for him. Neither is McCamley. And for Buchanan right now, he's getting held up behind these guys. And this will be the struggle for the top few who haven't pitted yet when they do come out of pit lane. They're going to be amongst it. And they're going to get held up. And they're not going to have a fun time as Owen Coleman has gone round again. It's a 15-second time penalty, by the way, for Luke Kapotza in car 4 for an unsafe re-entry on lap 1. So they're still getting through the lap 1 incidents. That's how chaotic it's been. As Schmidtke is trying to put pressure here with Mason trying to go down the inside. We saw the blinking issues earlier on for James. They've sorted themselves out, and he comes through for P10 on the road. So there's a bit of action everywhere with nearly 50 cars on the road. Well, you can look pretty much anywhere and find some action as well, as more and more cars are battling away. But it is intensifying back there between Buchanan and Caddy McCamley as well. These guys are tightly contested, and they're still battling away.
Yeah, for now, there's still nothing in between it. Will Buchanan's just sitting back and watching on. These guys just a little bit... Matt McCamley... Sorry, my apologies. I thought it was McCamley and Will Buchanan that were racing a couple laps. Last lap, sorry. It was actually Brock Caddy. And Buchanan, they've raced each other a couple times tonight, which is why... they didn't want to give each other a little bit of room, is because the problem is they survive that lap. Whoever leads that battle will get first dibs on cutting their way through the traffic, which has happened as they've caught McCamley. Now Buchanan's got an opportunity to fire it down the inside. And the problem is, with a championship on the line, you've got to be aggressive, but you've got to be circumspect about it. And that is the big strategical key. He gets that pass done. Buchanan might be a long way back in terms of points, but right now, strategy-wise, I reckon he's ahead of those two that are at the lead of this race, Curtis and Allen. Well, there's the first one to blink. Trent Allen's into the pit lane, and that is 36 minutes into the race. I tell you what, he's in trouble. He is in big trouble in terms of fuel. This is Adrian Gretsch. He leads the way in Challenger class at this point in time, trying to find a window to pick up a little bit of draft on the left-hand side of the road. I think he had a slow down in the last corner. Finally clears that one. The 571 machine of Matt Schmidt. He's going to try and have a go at him and on board the Lamborghini on the run down of turn number 1. He is going to pull a late braking move. Does get down there, but that was Gretsch also backing out. And finally, they are all starting to find a little bit of wiggle room to go racing in. But it is so difficult to make headway in this pack.
So Trent Allen is still in the box right now.
Did
And he's dropping spots. He hasn't. He's literally, he's only just doing his fill. But he's dropped a lot of positions to the likes of John Trott, Will Buchanan, and even Tom Wilkinson as well. It's a 20-second stop for him. And he's only just re-entered the circuit in P39 now. We'll get a better look at where he does truly stand in the field when we have got through the final few pit stops, because there are slightly offset with so many drivers coming in under the first 2 safety cars. As Isaac Curtis at the fast lap of the race, 138.28. As around goes Martin Hallinan. And he is dropping positions here super quickly. He gets it going again. Luckily, he's got a little bit of gap back to the next car behind, but how has this happened?
I think it's just going to be the rear end of the car coming around him.
Yeah, he clipped the curb. Yep.
Yeah. Isaac Curtis is in. The race leader is in. Peter Baxter. Get him off the screen.
Remove
the timing jar.
Don't show him. Peter,
everyone shut your eyes for the next 20 minutes. None of this ever happened.
No, I think that's Rob Baxter, isn't it? It's not Peter. Oh, Matt Webber.
Webber's going to slide it down the inside. Thank you, Matt Webber.
Matt Webber is our saviour right now, but Pete is going to try and battle him for the race lead. My God, the CX2 reality racing car. He doesn't need to.
No, right now what these guys need to do is just put their heads down and work together, because they are 6 seconds down the road on the next car. And they just need to work together. If they fight, they will give time up to everyone that's coming from behind them. So at the moment, Baxter will lead the race.
So Bobby Camaro is officially, by the way, the car that's gone the longest on this first stint. He's the only car that hasn't pitted now at this point. Isaac Curtis has come out well ahead of Trent Allen, by the way, 4.7, now 3.7 seconds ahead of Trent Allen, but he's behind John Trott.
Did Trent Allen take tyres, would be my question.
Wow.
I think he might have done, and if that's the case, that's one lap of warmer tyres.
Well, there's only 0.2 of a second separating their pit stop time.
You can get 4 tyres in that time.
Yeah, you can.
So I would be suggesting that Trent Allen has actually taken tyres, and in fact, Isaac Curtis within the lap has already dropped about a second back to Allen. So that margin is shrinking. So that says to me tyres. That is a Porsche. Has Fozzie up and over the curbing at this point in time. They're going to go 2 by 2 through the final couple of sectors, and it flicks itself back and then flicks itself back and then flicks itself back again. Final sector. See if anyone can do the over and under. That's the 124 of Cat Eye, who's caught this battle pack. And I believe that's Greg Heaney in the Aston alongside.
Matt Webber, by the way, made a mistake at the final corner. He's dropped bulk positions now. Scotty's now down to P7 now that Bobby Camo's in the pit lane. So that battle for the race lead's now changed. Pete Baxter, good old Pete Baxter, our Mark Larkham-esque cohort, is alone and 6.2 seconds ahead of Austin Edwards at the front of the field. That's the last thing I'm going to say about Pete until later in the race. But Brent Tucker putting all sorts of pressure right now on Mark Foster. It's all for P4 in the Challenger class. Brock Caddy, his teammate, is right behind him, so they can start to work together here for TriStar Racing. They continue to battle away. Goes for a late dive down the inside. A little bit of a door to Foster, and now gets it through on him. Here comes Caddy, though, as well. He wants to follow his teammate on the outside line now on Fozzie. Can he make it stick in the Mustang? He does for now. But Foster can come back at him. No, backs out of it, lets him have it. Plays the long game at this stage of the race and lets him through. So it's an interesting scenario we're in, Scott. Fuel strategy is, well, it's all over the place now for some drivers. Again, we're not really going to know until the final stops are made where everyone truly sits. Isaac Curtis out of sync compared to the majority of the field, back in P29. And his next closest rival in the championship, John Trott, is up in P17. The difference between them at the moment on the timesheet is 16.2 seconds. But John is dealing with the traffic though, so that is a bit of a struggle.
I think worthwhile keeping an eye on, because he did pit under that most recent safety car, so he does now have a little bit of track position. Remember, you've got to think about him relative to Curtis and Trent Allen. Those are the big, and they are mired back in the 30s. That strategy's not worked out for them. They need a safety car. They've got a big window for a safety car to benefit them. But well, that window's... Yeah,
think about it. One more safety car, and I think that almost guarantees they can get home with one more stop. Surely not. Like,
no.
No?
No. That window for that opening up will be in about 10 minutes' time.
Okay. Oh, no, I don't mean pitting under the safety car. I just mean in general. Like if there's one more.
Yeah, no. You've got it's about a 35-minute stint.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's sort of an hour and 10 is what we're looking at, which is about 8 minutes away. So right now, and that's what I mean. The first group hit about the first safety car was about 10 minutes into the race, which was right on that window to flick off the short stint.
Well, they went 19. They went 19 laps on that first stint. Now there was obviously a couple of safety car laps in there, so we can maybe give or take maybe 2 or 3 laps in that. So a regular stint would be maybe 17 at most. So that takes them out to lap 36. As Matt McCamley is off the road. So they'll take him out to lap 36. Which an average of 1:40 per lap. I don't know. It might still be 2 more. Oh my god, that we may need to look into the robotics department of Japan here, Scott, because I think that sausage curb has a spring underneath it, and it is just boosting them every time they hit it.
At the moment, it's killed a couple cars, but I don't think its job's been done yet. In those final couple corners. The biggest one is in that final sector. Dean Reddit's gone around. It was Dean Reddit, not Dean Hunt. I was thinking it was Dean Hunt. It's not Dean Hunt, it's Dean Reddit from earlier on in the show. And Dean's lost that one. That might have been on cold tyres on his own in the Porsche. As around goes the rear end.
So Dean in a little bit of a struggle. Tom Wilkinson battling away with John Trott, Greg Heaney ahead of him, Mark Foster as well. Fozzie's becoming a little bit of a cork in the bottle here, Scott, to some of these faster drivers, it seems. And they're just trying to slowly filter past him, but it is costing them time the longer that they're stuck in this train. And the one thing that John will want right now is for Wilco and Heaney to get past Foster as quickly as possible so he gets a chance to get by. Because the longer he's stuck back here, the more he's going to have to work for it.
Watch this Corvette take off. Just watch this thing in a straight line. Keep your eyes on this.
Watch the rocket ship do its work.
Because this thing is a rocket ship. He pulled out on Greg Heaney, and Greg Heaney's in the draft, and he is still going. And I think Fozzie just jumped on the radio and said, hey, you can have this one as well. So he's going to slide down the inside at turn 1. John Trott's going to follow him through. So you go 2 for 1 for the pair of them on the run into the turn number 1. They're thinking big picture racing at this point in time. Now that margin is very, very important to keep half an eye on, as well as the points that are actually on offer for each of the individual positions. So we'll sort of try and paint the picture for you here tonight. I can tell you that for qualifying, there is 35 points on offer for first, all the way back to 30th plus is 1 point. So 35, 32, 30, 28 for fourth, so it's 2 points between second, third, and fourth, and then from fifth down, it is individual points per qualifying position, and then you get points as well for spots in the race. 30th spot is worth, and 30th on is worth 10 points. but it is 10 points per position from 5th spot down to 30th. So each individual place on the racetrack is more than enough to cover it. Well, where did Isaac Curtis and Trent Allen qualify? They qualified 1 and 2. So realistically for those guys, it does not matter. Whoever wins out of those two on the racetrack will take the championship. That's what it comes down to. The margin between them is less than 1 spot.
I've just done a little bit of quick maths here, Scott, and please don't hold my maths to an exact concrete amount because it could have been very, very wrong. But I think I have gotten it right at this point. So with roughly an hour and 14 minutes left, so there's 2 points I want to make. So we've lost 5 minutes of racing time due to safety cars because 24 laps should have gotten us out to an hour and 20 minutes. So we've lost 5 minutes. With an hour and 14 to go when I made the calculation, it was calculating roughly with an average of 1 minute and 40 lap time, we would get roughly 44 and a half more laps to the end of this race. So if we're going to go 17 laps per stint, at least for now, they're going to need 2 more stops if they're going 17 laps per stint.
I think they can get 18. I definitely feel like if they could get 18 last weekend.
Even with 18, they need 2 more. The only way they can get home with 1 more is if they can stretch the stint out to 22 laps. That's the only way they can get home with 1 more stop. So I think everybody, if they were to pit right now,
everybody's got two to go. Yeah. Yes. But effectively, what's happened is those guys who haven't taken either of those safety cars will have to do 1 more stop under green flag conditions. Everyone who's pit under either of those safety cars has chopped a green flag stop out of the race. That's why there is a gain. That's another McLaren off the road. Is that Mason again?
James Mason, who's been in the struggle street. So Wilkes and Koistra are now into pit lane as well. So called it out and they come in. Now, so they all came in on roughly lap 8. They gained a lap by pitting under a safety car. So it pushes it out to
about 18 laps.
Yep.
Yeah, on that stint.
Right now it's about 17 or 18. They would have gained a lap so that you could claim they pitted on lap 9. And it's about 17 to this point. So yeah, about 17 or 18. Little fist bump for when the math works out. So I love it.
You will be referencing this one for a long time to come.
Oh yeah. I love when the math works out, Scott. It makes me feel so good. So if we add, let's add 17 to this, right? Because I'd say they got 18 because of the safety car. If we add 17, we get out to lap 43. Which then is still 26 laps away to the end. So I think they're still going to need a splash at the end of the race. Because right now we're penciled in to go, what would be 70 laps. Yeah, we're penciled in to go 70 laps because we'd go 69, it would end the hour, and we'd have overtime. So we'd have 1 extra.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing: don't forget we got 2 pit stops to come for, and you're taking that off the race leader. I reckon we're only going to get 69 laps in. I think the Camley's just gone into the barriers as well on cold tyres. Pete Baxter is in at the end of lap 26, which is critical because that does potentially. The thing is, from here, is that puts him. What have we got? 43 laps away to the end. So, yeah, he's still going to need 2 stops. But the second stop will do a really, really light splash.
Yeah. It's
going to need about 5 laps of fuel.
It's going to... we had 17, that's 40. No, he's still going to need nearly a full stint worth.
Okay.
Because you had 17 to 27, we go 44, we still need another 15 laps of fuel. So they're going to need 2 full stops, pretty much. I think those who actually pitted, who actually stayed out, so Curtis and Allen, they're going to need, I think, 1 more full stop and then a splash stop to the end of the race. I think their fuel's actually worked out quite well for them. But the questions, of course, will be answered, and the arithmetic lesson will end at the end of the race when we learn which math is correct and which math is mathing.
I think the critical number was the guys that pit under that second safety car. I think they're right on that critical number.
Yeah.
You take, realistically, 11 or 12 laps worth of fuel away from those guys. That takes the range down to 69 laps minus 11's 58. Yeah, 58 divided by 3 is 19-ish laps to a stint. I'm just keeping an eye on Tom Wilkinson at this point in time. He's fuel saving massively. So if he can get 19 laps by 3 stints, he actually will chop a pit stop out.
Yeah, it's about 19 and a third. So if we did
So it'll
17...
be 2 stints of 19 and 1 of 20.
Yeah, so if we divide 58 by 17, it's 3.4. So they're either going to need 3 stops and a splash, or with some fuel saving, just the 3 stops in general. But it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight for them to the very end of the race.
More penalties are actually starting to come in as well, and I'll just give everyone an update. Let's rattle off everything that's happened to this point.
Oh my God. Sorry, Pete Bax has just gone around on his roof. He's caught the curb of death, and he's
you're
just
kidding.
back around. Nope, I was following him along, and he caught the curb of death, and he rolled the car.
Which is a shame, because he was in such a strong position.
Yep, we spoke about him once.
It's plucked the rear wing off that car too. He's gonna have to come back into pit lane.
Yep.
So there goes the strategy. So either way, this little 3-car battle's just resolved itself. Coates has just kicked through on the pair of them. So this is going to be the replay of Pete. He's probably going to be on cold tyres, which is why the car's going to push quite a bit wide. Yep. It's the second curb.
Yep. He was actually very lucky that it rolled back over. Yep. Yeah, it wasn't stuck like a Beyblade on its roof. Luckily he rolled it back over again, so that's not as much of a nail in the coffin as what it previously was, as here comes John Trott on the outside of Will Buchanan. Is this a battle for the championship lead with Trent Allen and Isaac Curtis a little bit off the back of them? The key gap has shrunken. Remember, we checked in on it when Curtis came out of pit lane. It was up at 16 seconds, nearly 17 seconds. It's now 11.5 seconds, roughly, is the gap between John Trott and Isaac Curtis. So it is shrinking.
Yeah.
Yep.
But once everyone gets into this flow of green flag racing, that will start to extend itself out again. I think you're going to see a number of cars start to come towards pit lane. None of the cars that are in this little battle pack. So that is Trott, that is Buchanan, and that is Tom Wilkinson. We follow on board that Corvette at the back end of the 2 BMWs at the moment. The BMW's been the maligned race car to this point in time. Brad Coates has all of a sudden just taken a whole bunch of time out of these guys. Look at Wilkinson. Look at the big lift Wilkinson had. Look at the momentum. We talked about the momentum he had a couple laps ago. Did you see how far off the back of the 2 BMWs he dropped on the run out of turn number 1? That is a car that is quick in a straight line. It is not going to be as quick through the middle sector, and he is giving up race time to stay the course on fuel strategy.
Yep, he's trying to stay within the fuel window as best he can, but he doesn't want to let them run away either. Getting the tow is a massive help for him as Buchanan's run wide. Trott now on the outside line. They'll go side by side, door to door even, through the left. Somehow Buchanan comes out the other side of it unscathed. A couple of cars have been through pit road, by the way, including Bobby Camo. No, that was back on lap 20, sorry. Matt Schmidtke's been in, sorry. Look at Greg Heaney. Patrick Reardon as well, as Buchanan is trying to block the walls and the doors for John Trott to try and kick his way through, and Wilco will be loving it right now. A bit of fuel save. He's got good gap in behind.
Because they're holding each other up. That's the problem. The amount that they're racing each other, yeah, he's saving fuel and he's saving bulk fuel, but at the same time, these two are costing each other race time. Trott's got to line him up, or he's got to pit. He's got to do one or the other. He can't do both. Or he needs to fuel save. There's 3 games that's being played all at once as a part of this one. Who's coming to pit lane this lap? Are all 3 of them coming to pit lane? No, Trott is not coming to pit lane. Neither is Wilkinson. That solves that one. This will be a tyre stop as well, which means Buchanan will drop spots. But will they make them up on the next time by? Wilkinson making ground in a straight line, and again, yields and fails to take it. And the reason for that is fuel is becoming critical for these guys now. We are starting lap 30. I have a feeling John Trott's going to pit at the end of this one. That is going to leave us 39 laps to the end of this race. And if Wilkinson can go 1 extra lap, if he can get to 31, guess what? It's 38 laps. And that's 2 stints of 19. He might be able to get that home from there, and he'll be relying on the fact that there's no major safety cars. But he's not going to have a whole bunch of drafting assistance in this next stint. This race is critical on fuel. It's critical on points. And we are 5 minutes away from the halfway point of the final race of the season. Where's Isaac Curtis? Where's Trent Allen? They're 3rd and 4th on the road. They're about 7.5 seconds. Remember, you were talking about that margin was shrinking, and I was talking about these guys holding each other up. They have held each other up. That margin was, what, 9, 10, 11 seconds, you said, last lap? It's 7.5. Yeah. 7.5 to John Trott.
Yep, it is. It just dropped significantly. Helped by the fact that Isaac has got clear road ahead of him. Set the fast lap of the race, 138.26. The gap I was speaking of was the gap up to Trott himself, which was 11.6. Now down to 8.6 to John, so he's gained 3 seconds on both of them for that gap. So it's a big gain for Isaac. He'll take the lead of the race once again when they're in. John is in. Wilco's in as well, so they're both coming into pit lane, and Curtis is now going to push on once again. Importantly, Curtis got 19 with those 2 safety cars out of his first stint, so can he get 19 out of this one? It's going to take a bulk fuel save for that to work out for him, but if there's some perfect world for Isaac Curtis where there's 2 safety cars every stint, he can get home with 1 more stop, pushing it out another 19 laps. So, Trent Allen, who is P1 in the title race, Curtis, who's P2. But for Allen, P2 is good enough, Scott, for him to win the championship. It is good enough for him. For John Trott, he needs them to drop quite a few positions, and he needs to beat them in this race if he wants to win the title. It's still on the line for John, but fuel strategy and fuel game is going to be important as well. But both Allen and Curtis have been very strong this season from the very start, back at Silverstone, into the Bend, into Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta as well, and then out at Motegi last week. They've both been incredibly strong this season. And I think the race that really defined it for me, that Curtis was going to be a challenger the whole way through, and Allen as well.
There's a car around.
There is a car around.
It's not moving. Coleman. Yeah.
No, it's Ben Brooks around. Sorry, Ben Brooks around on the grass. The race that really solidified it for me that both of them are going to be there to the end was the Bend. The way they drove at the Bend was incredibly dominant, and just a very, very strong performance from both of them. Curtis is still setting fast laps, by the way, at 138.2. He is not lifting at all. That's Ben just trying to get his car fixed up in the Mercedes for Frog Leap Juice Racing. So, what a race it's been. We're just past the halfway point, Scott. Still 58 minutes, we're 58 minutes into this race, so we're about to get to the halfway point. So there's a little bit of change ahead of the hour. But 1 hour in, a couple of safety cars, bit of interesting fuel strategy to play as well. What more can come in the second hour of this race?
Yeah, everything is still on the line. Look at the margin from Trent Allen back to Trent Stapleton at the moment. 21 seconds in the middle.
It's
of that field. Well, it's what's going on because of the problem is you've got such a vast strategy disparity. The problem is, with that pace benefit that those cars have got at the moment between Curtis and Allen, they're going to overcome the strategy barriers. And the problem has been there's been other cars there in that hole. Every single one of them has had issues. Where did Trent Stapleton qualify? He wasn't all that quick at the start of the night. He qualified 26.
He's up 23. Yeah. So he's gotten there by staying clean and picking up his strategy correctly, as Chris Ruddle's just had an off-track too, by the way, in the Challenger class, as he's just getting it pulled back up again on the back end chicane. But that will sort itself out when they pit again. But really, what the gap's probably going to be is Allen and Curtis are probably going to be a good 10 seconds ahead of Stapleton after the next stop, as Ben Wilkes just had a massive dive bomb on him by Ben Coates. Brad Coates, sorry. So
let's run through a list of the penalties, by the way. We should try and catch up with that because there's been a whole bunch of them. I'll take you all the way back to lap 1. Alfonso Latella picked up 5 seconds for an unsafe re-entry, as did Matt McCamley. Jacob Hughes, my apologies. Unsafe re-entries was lap 7 and lap 11 were the first 2 penalties that come in. 5 seconds for Jacob Hughes on lap 1. Richard Mayer copped 25 seconds for turn 6 on lap 1, which was the dive bomb on Rue Koistra. Tom Wilkinson picked up 15 seconds on lap 1. Owen Coleman picked up 15 seconds on lap 1. Patrick Redden, 25 seconds. 15 seconds for Hallinan. Capozza, 15 seconds. Glenn Jones, 15 seconds. Alfonso Latella, 10 seconds. John Trott, critically, John Trott has picked up a 5-second penalty for exiting a closed pit lane exit. That actually could be relevant to the overall championship. Mark Foster, 5-second time penalty. Stefan Mellis, 5-second penalty. James Mason, 5-second penalty. Bobby Camo, 25-second penalty. Nathaniel Coburn, 15 seconds. Matt Webber, 15 seconds. There's 2 more reported incidents that come in from Luke King and Luke Capozza as well. But John Trott, remember, for the rest of this race, he is going to have 5 seconds over him all the way through. There's nothing that he can do about that.
Well, there's not much more drivers can do when they've copped their penalties, but we really cleaned up our act at this point comparatively to the first sort of 10 laps, which was absolute chaos. They've settled into their rhythm now. Everyone's kind of broken away and settled back into it. We ride with Owen Coleman on board the Blue V machine. He's a touch behind John Akers, who's still where he started this race. Coleman's currently up 23 positions in this one as well, but as they battle away, they just give it a little bit of front to rear contact and reminding him that he's there. We're over the hour mark with 57 minutes and change to go in this race. Anything can happen. There's still a couple of pit stops to come. Strategy's going to be key to the very end. Who has strategized correctly? Who's rolled the dice correctly? Has it come up snake eyes, or have they hit the jackpot here tonight? And between Alan and Curtis, well, there's not much more Isaac can do to try and win the title. He needs Trent Allen to drop to P3 if Isaac wants to win the Elite Class Championship.
Adrian Gretsch, I tell you what's actually doing a really, really good job. I think Ben Wilkes is actually leading the way in Challenger class at the moment. Sits in 9th spot, but Gretsch is right there in 2nd spot for Challenger. How about Ruse come back across the course of the night as well? From the rear end of the field. Now, he has still got a penalty hanging over his head. I believe... Actually, I didn't remember reading out his name for a penalty. I did see his name on the sheet, but there was actually no penalty that went along with it. So he makes that pass and moves his way up in a 9th spot and is continuing to progress himself as much as he possibly can.
As well, the pressure that's being applied by Matt Webber on Trent Stapleton. He's trying to get past him as an NFA now on Luke King for a lap 30 incident. So that one's been deemed a racing incident, perhaps by race control, possibly a self-penalising incident as well for whoever caused it. But Matt Webber is getting a good run here on Stapleton, but I think he's happy just to sit behind him right now. Scott, maybe just save a bit of fuel, although he's trying to get it done at turn 1. Makes me look like a liar.
Car races tend to do that for Matt Webber down the inside. So
He's
going to take effective P3. Well, the thing is, we don't know how this is working out at this point in time as well.
That's
the
true.
problem is, Curtis and Trent Allen were over a second faster than this pair on that last lap.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't think them not battling would make a difference right now on the timesheet. I think that would... I think that Allen and Curtis would still be outlapping them and outpacing them at this stage. I think they're sitting in such a comfortable position. And I wonder, Scott, if there's a little bit of sting in it for Curtis, knowing that they are so dominant tonight, and the fact that he needs Trent to drop to P3 if he wants to win the title. Like,
I don't know, he wins it. Curtis wins the title from there.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Yeah. Because remember, so you got to remember, each position in the race is worth 10 points.
Okay.
Effectively, if you're not at the pointy end of things, I do have a graphic from earlier on in the night that I was sort of referencing for what the points were worth. But every spot, first to second is 30 points, second to third is 20 points, third to fourth is 20 points, fourth to fifth is 20 points, and then every spot thereafter is 10 points.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay.
So they are close enough together on the points that it does not matter. Whoever finishes ahead on the racetrack will win the championship.
So to confirm for Trent Allen, he went 18 laps on that. Well, 17 really. He pitted on the end of lap 18, start of 19. Went to the end of 36. So he is right on the bubble right now, but we've still got 33 laps to go. So they're still going to need one more stop to get to the end. So with one more, where is that going to place them based on how short of a pit stint it's going to be and how much fuel they're going to need to put on? They're going to need to put on probably a 3/4 stint amount of fuel. How much less can everyone else put in, being because they pitted earlier in the race? It's going to be a very interesting scenario when we get to the end of it, as Camo, with the big damage on the front of his car, who pitted on lap 20, is starting to hold them up right now as Caddy wants to try and get by, but he can't quite get close enough. to the Aria Mercedes of Bobby Camo. We expect Isaac Curtis into pit lane this lap. Let's give you an update on where Trent Allen has ended up. After that one, he's ended up P16 behind, of course, John Trott and Tom Wilkinson. He's behind John Trott by 5.1 seconds. He's behind Will Buchanan by 2.9 seconds as Isaac is in.
Yeah, well, Curtis is going to drop in. So he's managed to go one lap longer, which the biggest benefit for him is the amount of fuel he does not have to add to that race car. One lap could be enough to pop him out far enough in front that he's safe. So this will be the battle.
Now, the critical lap he's got to get to is lap 53 to get home. So if he gets to 53, which he can by underfueling by one lap this time, I think the safer bet though is just putting in your fuel tank, or your full tank, and then underfueling on the last stint. But he's got to get to lap 53. That is the pit lap where drivers can get home from to the end of this race. So for everyone else, Matt Webber, Trent Stapleton, they came in on lap 27. The furthest they can go is lap 44. So they're off by around about 9 laps. So they're only going to need a 9-lap splash to get to the end, as Isaac Curtis has come out just ahead of Adrian Gretsch, and importantly, ahead of John Trott.
Critical to get that one done.
Yep.
And pull out. I think it's going to come down to actually getting it done on the racetrack. I'm just hearing that there's potentially a car's caught up in a couple bits and pieces. At the moment, I think Matt Webber's actually our new race leader. He's in a bit of a spot at this point in time. Have a look at these two battling out on track. This is relative. This could be relevant to the race at large, but Matt Webber has just caught a whole bunch of cars who've just recently come out from pit stops. So he isn't going to be in a world of hurt.
Now, Matt could maybe roll the dice here. And since he is in traffic, Scott, he could pit now, fill the car and get it to critical lap and just see where he ends up. That is the game that he could play right now. To get out of the traffic, he could pit early, roll the dice and see where he lands. Because I don't think he has anything to lose by doing that. Yes, he loses the race lead, but by taking his shorter stop now, he could possibly come out ahead of these guys. And by coming out ahead of them, could maybe try and run away from them if they begin to battle. Because John is looking racy on the back of Curtis. And the more that these guys battle, the better it's going to be for them.
Still on. I think it's... The problem is, I think if you're in this position, you've just got to fight for it at the moment. Because realistically, just to talk to everyone about what's going on and why this is really, really relevant, Isaac Curtis and John Trott, we think... might both have one pit stop to go. It's going to be really, really tight between the pair of them if they do or if they don't. I think there's going to be an extra splash and dash for John Trott.
Yeah, I think
currently, it's tight. It is very, very tight. If there is another safety car, that will come, that will change. You will effectively see these guys basically come out line astern on track, which is why this is relevant. But have a look at where Will Buchanan is. Again, they're all just being shaken out right in about the same spot on the racetrack. So Trott, Gretsch, Wilkinson, and then the next car that's off the bottom end of that graphic is actually Will Buchanan.
Remember as well, John has got that 5-second penalty next to his name as well for exiting a closed pit lane. On the blanket of it, right, on the paper, John is currently 6 laps off of critical if he were to pit. So he can get out to lap 47 on his stint, and he's about 6 laps away from critical lap. So he's always going to need a 6-lap splash and dash. With a safety car...
It's less than that. I can tell you it's definitely less than that, but you're not too far off.
Well...
You're not too far off. The strategy's right, the number's wrong, but the call's right.
Well, you put it on lap 30. Go 17, that's 47.
Yeah, but it's tighter than that. It's less than 6. So
we'll see how tight it is. We'll see how much less it is. If it is less than 6, but it is proper strategist stuff. I mean, it's crunching numbers, trying to figure it out. It is tight between them, and for John, the closer he can get to 53, the better it's going to be, because it's going to be less laps of fuel he needs to add in the end for a splash and dash. But oh, it's going to be super tight. It is going to be super, super tight. Now, for 53 to 69, well, again, that's 16 laps. 52 is obviously 17, but we don't know if we're going to get overtime or not. We're assuming we're going to get 69 laps out of the race. It's going to be very, very close for them in terms of fuel. Right now, though, I'd have to give the benefit to Isaac Curtis, because he is playing the strategy game of stay out early, don't come in under an early safety car, push out to the end of your stint, and just play the game of keeping it out of pit lane as many times as possible. And it is working for him at a maximum right now. So for Isaac, he is 48 minutes away from the checkered flag. Is he 48 minutes away from a championship win? Time will tell, because Will Buchanan and Tom Wilkinson are battling in behind. Will would love to try and win himself a title. He's been very strong this season. Didn't qualify the best at the start of the season, Scott, but he has had great race pace all throughout. John Trott in a similar manner, but it's been Curtis and Allen who've been the much better qualifiers throughout the season. They matched that with their race pace. And then Brad Coates has been the slowly but surely sneaking assassin all season, as Stapleton's been put under pressure here by Edwards for P2 on the road. Stapleton, what a drive though. Up 24 positions right now. Will he remain there? Not so likely, but could get himself a top 5 tonight in what would be a hell of a strategy pull and a hell of a performance from him if he can pull that off.
Yep. Yeah, so we just watching, mate. There's not much. The biggest issue we've got to watching you guys watching along at home is there is a few things to shake out of this one as of yet. It's not really. We'd love to sit here and say this is how it should look, this is how it should look, but the problem is there's windows. The problem is those windows are very, very tight. There is going to be, I think Wilkinson is going to be like 1 lap shy on fuel. That's what we're watching. And John Trott, I think just with how much he's pressed on this stint, is going to be 2 shy on fuel. Is what my numbers are shaking out. I think it might be 3, it might be 4. It's right in and about those numbers. So whilst we're watching these battles on track, there's more of a story that's being told. And that was Will Buchanan sliding the rear tyres of his BMW. It's gotten darker out there at this point in time as well. There was a potential chance for rain to be hitting the circuit in about 5 minutes' time, but that's not happened. That's not eventuated. There's nothing on the radar, so that has gone away. Which is the good news. Depends. If you were waiting for lap times to fall off a fair way and us to potentially lose a lap, well, you're out of luck, unfortunately. So, for now, it's about pressing on as best as you possibly can. Matt Webber leads the way, but he has not got enough fuel on board. I just don't think he's going to shake out in a positive enough position. Koistra's made significant ground to get back to 4th spot. Brad Coates is in a reasonable spot as well. Martin Hallinan just had a huge moment as they came through the high-speed turn 4 and turn 5. And he will crawl away from that one after a massive slide for the rear end of the Mustang. I think that's on cold tyres for his car. Coldish. Actually, no, they're warm. He's definitely got warm tyres on underneath him.
I think it's either a loss of traction through there, or someone has forced the loss of traction perhaps and made contact with him. It's a real struggle. The chat are specifically not mentioning a certain driver's name after the the precipice that we've set for them, Scott, who's currently in P4. They're pointing it out to each other. You mentioned it before. I ain't saying nothing. There are
you can't reference him, and you've done that now as well. So realistically, all of this will fall on your shoulders, Hamish. Thank you for taking the blame for that. I really appreciate you stepping up.
You said them by name, Scott, so you are the one with the bigger pressure on your shoulders right now.
So either way, this is happening on the start-finish straight. I think that might have been a lapped car, actually. It was just jumping out of the way. I believe it was Matt McCamley. Yeah, he's done well, actually, to jump out of the way. John Trott is going to try and go down the inside of Ben Wilkes on the run down at turn number 1. So the problem is Trott is trying to extend fuel while still creating speed, and that is a very, very difficult prospect to do. You can see in the background that Wilkinson, who was matching him earlier, has given up on the speed, and he is just going about the fuel saving. as he will go.
If he can fuel save enough.
Well, it's possible. It is possible, but it's aggressive, is what you have to do.
Right on board with Wilkinson at the moment as he follows Brock Caddy here for P11. 5-second penalty to Mark Foster for an unsafe re-entry on lap 40 as well, so more penalties are coming into it. Coleman and Coburn are into pit lane as well now. Foster's been in for the last 60 seconds, so that's been a long period for him. But pressure's still rising. Who can win this championship as Wilkinson's trying to fuel save at the moment? There was 3 points coming into it tonight, and right now Isaac Curtis would be the champion if it were to finish how it currently is. And he's done a hell of a job to get himself into that position this season. Will Buchanan, well, he's been a wondrous driver this season as well. Sits P4 in the title standings. Probably just didn't do quite enough throughout the mid part of the season, but he's been very, very strong as Koistra is now in the pit lane.
Yeah, so here comes a little bit of that strategy that we were waiting for. Wilkes and Gretsch have both come in as well in behind him, so that will take them out of the running order, and again that starts to give us a little bit more of the information. The problem for those cars as well, we are still beyond 42 minutes left, which means they definitely have one more stop left to go. Wilkinson's 12 laps on his stint, so he's got about 6 to 7 laps left to go on the current fuel. I reckon Wilkinson will get home. You know what? Trott and Wilkinson are actually quite close to making it on fuel. I think the numbers that I was looking at a little bit earlier, this is actually a lot tighter than we were previously stating. They are still at risk of making it.
It's going to be very, very tight. Very, very tight. They've got to get to that critical lap of 52 at a maximum, 53 at a minimum, to really get those cars home. If they can, then mathematically they can make the checkered flag on one more stop, but they've got to make another 10 laps, or just under 10 laps, so there's going to be a little bit of work to be done for them. Caddy continues to put the pressure here on Buchanan for P7 as well. Brock's had some shining moments this season, course racing all throughout, does some commentary work on the side as well, over in the likes of Vets for SimSpeed, and he showed his accurate this season in that Mustang. A couple of struggles as well, but some solid performances throughout this season too.
So at the moment, again, the critical number for me is about 36 to 38 minutes. That is when pit stops to make it home. Does Isaac Curtis just go ahead and set the fastest lap of the race? I think he just did. Yeah, I tell you what, it won't matter what the speed is like. There was a riot car. It was Dean Reddit, actually. It was just to his inside. He was coming out of pit lane as he went down through turn 1. It was purple for Curtis through the first sector, and I think the second sector as well, all the way down to about turn 13, 14. He was purple on that most recent lap. Final sector, not necessarily quite as much. There are 2 ways that this race can be won. One of them can be on strategy, but one of them is on raw speed. And for Curtis, at the moment he is challenging for speed. This is the next couple of cars that are in behind him as well. Will Buchanan is desperate to get past Brock Kadai, because the critical factor for Kadai's going to lose the rear end of the Mustang. Buchanan needed to see that, because now that frees him up to go racing. And the thing about Fuji is it's a cooker. You can overheat the front tyres, you can overheat the rear tyres, but you need a little bit of rotation on board the Mustang to make it work. And eventually, the rear tyres of Brock Kadai roasted, melted, and got served for Christmas dinner.
Hopefully it's not dry for them, Scott. I don't think you're going to find any gravy you can put on those tyres to try and moisten them up a little bit. As Matt
there's another car. Dean Redette's going around, and Buchanan actually had to dodge him, which means he's lost a spot to Wilkinson.
Yep.
Which the problem is right now, I wouldn't want to be Tom Wilkinson right in front of Will Buchanan, because the last 2 cars that were just in front of him, the rear end come around on it.
So Stapleton's in as well. So Webber and Stapleton into pit lane now, Scott. So Coates takes the lead to Curtis and to Trott. This is what happened to Dean in the 303 car. Ran it a little bit wide, tried to correct mid-corner, and then it shot out real wide mid-corner on the left, and it's just gone round on him. It's a Porsche doing Porsche things. Oh, my God. I'll talk about splitting the gap. It'll split hairs too if you were to hit him. And they've managed to just stay out of it. So we're back with Buchanan and Wilkinson. Is there continues on. Akers is in pit lane. Carrick's in. So is Brock Kadai. And Golan is in pit lane too. Bax is coming into pit lane. A little bit too early for them to get home on one more. On this stop, they're going to need one more to get home. A little splash to the end, it seems. As Stapleton has come out, P16 on the road, by the way, so he's up 10 positions in this race from where he started. And he's managed to stay ahead of those who were behind him prior to this pit stop, so that's worked out well for him. But for Buchanan, he is still looking strong, still putting pressure on Wilkinson here. But again, the questions we've been asking this whole race are only going to get answered by the time of the last pit stops. How far can Wilkinson and Trott go? How far can they push these cars? How far can Buchanan go? Because he's in the same boat as them, Scott. He pitted lap 29.
He is a big thing at the moment. Brad Coates is on lap 15 of his stint. I think he's just about to come to the finish line and complete lap 16 of the stint, which puts him on 17. So he's got 2 more to go. 2 more laps puts us to the end of 48, which gets us in range of 20 to go. I reckon Wilkinson and Trott have actually got enough fuel, you know? Because they went 1 lap further. Well, that then at the end of this one becomes 2 laps further. That puts them in the window. That actually does put them in the window.
It does. That depends if Coates is saving fuel to get 1 more lap out of it.
Coates is not. He's not saving.
No.
Well, he was saving a little bit. He was saving to get to 18. 17 is about the number for a push. And Coates went 18.
So right now, if they can go 18, they're getting to the end of lap 48, start of 49. And the critical, as we mentioned,
you get to the end of lap 50, which gives you a 19-lap run home. Wilkinson and Trott will make it on fuel. That's if they can go 19. Trott's lifted the pace. I don't think he's going to save enough.
It's going to be tight. It is going to be so tight. I mean, it's incredible how all this kind of storylines we can get ourselves in a race like this. This is endurance racing, you know, at a grand scheme of things. Trying to save the smallest of margins, trying to save yourself an extra lap or even an extra 2 laps. And it puts you on struggle street a little bit. It means they can't push as hard as what Curtis can, obviously, but they're trying to keep themselves within the fight for the championship. And if for whatever reason Isaac Curtis makes a mistake, as Brad Coates is into pit lane now, so Curtis takes the race lead. If Isaac Curtis makes a mistake for whatever reason across the next 23 laps, they're going to be right there to pounce on him. And that is what they want to give themselves, an opportunity to pounce. So Will and Brad went did they go 17 or 18 laps? They put it on the end of 29, start of 30. They've gone
Coates went 17 on that stint. He went 17, not 18.
Yeah, so they've both gone 17. So the way that Buchanan was pushing and the fact that he was right behind Wilkinson tells me that Wilkinson can only go 17. That's what that tells me. Off the face of what their fuel strategy is looking like.
Coates was massively further down the road. Massively further down the road. No, I'm putting money on Wilkinson can make it on fuel. Trott, the problem is Trott's pace has come up too much. So for those of you watching along at home, why is that relevant? That says that John Trott has abandoned that strategy. And if you have a look at the difference between... So remember, they both went 19 laps after the safety car restart. Why is that relevant? Well, this stint, John Trott has put 8 seconds on Tom Wilkinson. 8 seconds. Those 2 cars were line astern. They were running about the same lap speed. Their fastest laps of the race were about 3 or 4 tenths of a lap different, right? But I don't think Wilkinson's actually... I don't think we've ever actually seen his push pace because they've been digging themselves out of a hole. So, realistically, Trott's lifted the pace in this stint, which means he's not going to get 19 laps. He's only going to get 18, and that's going to leave him 1 lap shy. He's going to have to pit for 1 lap of fuel. Not 2 laps. It'll be 2 laps.
Trott is in.
Yeah.
By the way,
so that's a 17-lap stint.
Yep. 17, which for me says he still needs a splash. It's a very small splash, but he'll need a splash. So,
if he goes 17 again, he'll need 4 laps.
It'll be 4.
My apologies. Yeah. So again, reasons why the numbers keep changing and the numbers drift further apart or closer together is if you run a 17-lap stint compared to somebody who runs a 19-lap stint, it's 2 laps difference on the first stint. By the end of the second, it's 4 laps. By the end of the third, it's 6 laps. So for each stint, you've got to keep adding that amount. And the problem is that a couple of these guys have run different lengths of stints. Trent Allen's just caught Tom Wilkinson and breezes past because, again, that is the difference between a guy who's saving and a guy who's not. Trent Allen 17 laps on his last stint of the race, and these two pit 5 laps apart, which will close by 3 laps.
It's going to be super close. I mean, we've got 33 minutes and change left to go. 1 more stop for some cars, 2 more stops for others, and in those 2 stops, good old splash and dash attack. Come in, a little bit of fuel, come out again. How much time you give up, though, for the very long pit lane that is here at Fuji. A small mistake like crossing the pit entry too early, that can cost you heavily. Speeding in pit lane can cost you heavily as well. And if you are Trent Allen or Isaac Curtis, you want to make sure you come in with the amount of gap they're about to have, Scott, on the next stop. Well, Isaac Curtis being 14 and a half seconds over Trent Allen, he can afford to. Just come into pit lane as easily as possible. You don't need a push to get into pit lane. Take it slow. Make sure you don't get a speeding and pit penalty, and make sure you do not get an unsafe pit entry, and you'll win yourself a championship. That is the best possible thing Isaac Curtis can do right now, because he's trying to pull the game of buy a ticket to the end of the race, and the best way you can punch that ticket is by taking it safe and smart on the very last stint of the day, because you don't want to make the last hour and a half worth nothing if you come in and you get yourself a penalty and you cost yourself the race lead.
Well, for now, keeping an eye on this battle pack at the moment. This is 17th to 21st spot on the road. And look at how close these guys all are. And you saw Brock Cat-Eye slicing down the inside of Matt Schmidtke just a few moments ago. Here comes another one of the Mustangs. And that is going to be pulling out to the inside of Luke Kapotz, and I believe that will be Coleman. Will slide down the inside, looking for 17th spot, late on the brakes. Lamborghini just in front of him, turning into turn number 1. Will Buchanan's just picked up a slowdown penalty. That is critical for his race. He will have to try and clear that one, and he's lost ground to John Trott. But Trott, remember, has 1 more pit stop left to go. I think Buchanan does. Well, Buchanan definitely will, but he'll have a lot more fuel to go. So Will Buchanan is no threat for the title at this point in time. By our math, neither is John Trott. This becomes a 2-way fight between Curtis and Trent Allen, and the margin at the moment, with just the raw speed that Curtis has been cutting his way through, is 13.7 seconds. So he just needs to run clean to the flag. That's his only responsibility.
So Tom Wilkinson has pulled off a 19-lap stint, Scott.
And comes in at the end of
49. 18 lap. It was 18 lap. He's going to need to... Oh, no, Tom. He may need a lap of fuel. Oh, it's going to be tight. Because he went 18.
Has just gone around again, I think. Yeah, he has.
He's still going. He hasn't gone round.
Yeah, Rui Coister, you're just going to see it here in a few moments. I think it's going to be curbing again. Nope, just at the exit. Never mind, rear tyres giving up on Rue, unfortunately.
Maybe it's because we didn't mention him enough.
6 rounds of the championship for the Dash Off-Road GT3 Limited. 12 hours worth of racing. We have ticked 11 and a half of them off. There is 30 minutes to come in the grand finale. Any of these boys, all Isaac Curtis, all Trent Allen, John Trott, Will Buchanan, Brad Coates, wanted under the Christmas tree was a Premier Endurance League title. For some of these guys, it's gone well. For some of them, they've thrown strategy at the wall. For the Challenger class, Adrian Gretsch leads the way now. Something's happened to Ben Wilkes in the mix of things, and Gretsch will lead the way. Actually, I'll tell you what, I reckon actually Gretsch might have run him down on pace. That might actually be on the raw speed. So Adrian Gretsch might round the championship finale out with a race win to his name as well in the Challenger class.
What would be a lovely little present to unwrap from under the tree right now, Scott.
Porsche 992 Cup car.
Oh, well, that.
One of those. Yeah,
that'd be fantastic.
Can Santa please just deliver me a race car? That would be great.
Well, I suppose on the realm of race cars, but maybe an appearance from the Sud Speed safety car in this last half an hour.
What about a pair of Sud Speed gloves?
That'd be good too.
Yeah, Richard Mayer, Chris Russell.
Maybe something from Dash Off-Road 4x4 parts as well. I don't know four-wheel drive, but I'll take some parts. Who knows?
Did they put it? I tell you what, Dash Off-Road might have planted a spring underneath that sausage curb of death.
We've figured it out, Scott. That's what it is. Yep. They put a lift kit under there.
Yeah, Christmas gift gone wrong.
They did that for the pre-show entertainment to show off how good their suspension is, and they forgot to take it out before the race. That was what it was. They wanted to show the how much spring perch there can be when they run the tyres over them.
You know what I want for Christmas, Hamish? I want you to sing Mariah Carey.
Not on your life, Scott.
Damn. Christmas ruined.
I've got one karaoke song and one only, and it is La Bamba, and it takes me a good 6 bundies or so, and then I'm good to go.
The challenge is we've got our producer in the background assisting my Christmas wishes, so it's making it a little bit challenging to commentate at this point in time. But that was Wilkinson challenging Owen Coleman for position out on the racetrack. And again, that's the fuel safe strategy. He needs to make it 19. I think this race is going to go 69 laps.
I want to hear you sing either True Blue or Up There Kazali, Scott. That's what I want to hear. Yeah, I mean, the initial prospect of 69 laps is looking more and more likely at this stage, Scott, at the moment.
YouTube chat does not want Mariah Carey to be sung for a Christmas gift. How about that? You can provide all of that. That's my
partner Rhiannon. She doesn't want to hear it. She's going to have to hear it at work on the
Rhiannon?
next week. So,
Rhiannon, message me. We'll see what we can make happen. We might include it in his contract for next season.
Oh my God.
Oh. This is why we join in for Premier Endurance League on the final day of the school for 2025. Up and over the curb, Rue Koistra! Cher is getting nothing for Christmas, unfortunately, for Rue. But manages to go away with that one, but that is another curb biting. That curb right there is actually quite difficult.
Oh, Scott,
well, Trent Allen for the championship. 26 minutes on the clock. He is in his final stop in 2025. Well, we hope. He won't be coming back for damage.
He went as far as he could go. This was as far as he could go in this race, which means he can get to the end. It's another fastest lap of the race, by the way, for Isaac Curtis, 137.8. I don't like that there is an ominous done deal message in the chat as well, Scott, after your comments. I'm now scared, but that's my problem to deal with, not yours. So for Curtis, we expect him in at the end of this lap, which again is good enough to get him home at this stage of the race. Wilkinson that's a question mark in itself. John Trott, I think, definitely needs a splash to get home for sure. He's pushed that opportunity aside. But right now, it looks like Isaac Curtis is to lose at this point of the race with 17 to go. He looks a little bit unstoppable right now, Scott, barring a penalty or a mistake, as Adrian Gretsch lets Owen Coleman pass him, as Coleman's up 34 in this race. But for Gretsch, he gets to the end, he wins the title tonight. It doesn't matter how his race goes. He just wants to make the checker flag, as the race leader's in to pit lane. Now, he's going to need 16 laps worth of fuel to get home, so he can take 1 lap less than what his teammate did. I feel like you got to play it safe though, Scott. With the gap that he had, you might as well fill it up. It's only a 1 lap difference.
Cher's okay. You know what? She is getting a Christmas present. She already paid for Rue to come visit for Christmas.
Hey, there you go. I don't know how I feel about her having to pay for him to come visit her. Surely that should come out of his pocket.
when you're a parent, you enjoy just having your kids come home for Christmas.
Fair.
That's enough sometimes. For Isaac Curtis at the moment, in the pit lane for his final time, Matt Webber is going to lead laps as well towards the back end of this race. There is every opportunity for him to come out of things with a massive win.
Curtis came out ahead of him. Oh my God.
Well, Isaac Curtis, final stop of the season, and he just comes out in the lead. That'll cover it off. Yeah, that's done it well. So we'll watch and just sort of wait, because this will be critical. I think he would have just taken fresh tyres. Matt McCamley's the car that's just in front of him. You can actually see the amount of ground that Matt Webber's making up at the moment.
So right now, the gap between Curtis and Alan is 19.5 seconds, Scott. I have a feeling that gap's going to spread just a little bit in the last sort of 22 minutes of this, 23 minutes of this race. I have a feeling right now it's just the swan song for Isaac Curtis, and it is a drive similar to Shelby Power Motorsports Park from earlier in the season, when that was the first chance I got to see him in this car. And ever since then, he has just proven time and time again he's very, very strong. Now, yes, he's had some disappointing races compared to his best, but tonight he is having a champion drive at the front end of the field. I do think there is something wrong, though, with running a 911 number on a Mustang and not a Porsche, but that's a contentious question for another day. But for Isaac Curtis, he is 22.5 minutes away from the checkered flag, and he's 22.5 minutes from a championship. But anything can happen in that time, Scott. Internet failure, power failure, PC failure, whatever it might be.
Don't say those things. Do not say those things.
Anything can happen.
Ladies and gents, if Isaac Curtis has some sort of gremlin get in the way, it's been nice working with you.
Well, you know what? You know what's funny about commentator curses, Scott?
You just ended your own career.
No, they don't exist if you don't believe in them, and I don't believe in them.
That's nice for you, but everybody else does, and therefore, doesn't matter what you think. So, mate, this series, the funny thing is, they don't exist in the open category, but in the limited, they absolutely do.
You know what? I have a theory about this, Scott, and majority of the time it is proven that normally when I mention a driver's name and they make a mistake, it's that they've been listening to the broadcast and then they hear their name called, and they look, and then they crash. And then I often say to drivers, don't listen to what I'm saying, mute the stream. You can check on it every now and again, but otherwise you're going to take the focus off the driving. So if you want to have the stream up while you drive, that's fine, that's your choice. Have it muted though. You don't want to hear Scott and I blabbering for an hour and 40 minutes, because that's just going to put you off your racing. But if you're sitting at home on the couch, maybe a couple of drinks, maybe the heater's on, or the air conditioning, wherever you may be watching from, then I applaud and I welcome you into the chat, and I thank you for joining us as well, because it's been a very fun experience tonight. Scott, it's been a fun experience this season, actually. We've only worked together this season for 4 rounds out of the 5 that I've been here and out of the 5 that you've been here. But it's been a great season all along, and it's all equaled itself out now. Now that Pete's not commentating tonight and he's in the car, all 3 of us have only done 5 races apiece. So I think I like it when it's a nice round number like that.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see as well. The calendar's not all that far away for 2026 as well, because you can be sure of 2 things. Whilst ever there is a simulator, there will be car racing, and whilst ever there is car racing, based on the high of things that has happened thus far, Premier Endurance League will continue on, and I believe Open and Limited Series are expecting even more entries than they have. I don't know how they're going to squeeze more cars in. 50 cars back at Bathurst was absolutely nuts to kick the second half of the year off. Sorry, at the start of the year. I think that was way back at the start of the year too. It has been a long, long year. Yeah, Silverstone, The Bend, Watkins Glen Road, Atlanta, Motegi, Fuji. I remember Bathurst all the way back at the start of the year. Jesus, it was a long time ago. I cannot believe how long ago that was. But in the new year, a trip to Adelaide will not be far away. Of that you can be sure. But for the meantime,
I hope we get to go to Port Ricard or Bahrain in the last half of the year, since they are projected for next year. One of the two. That'd be a good time.
And the big thing will be everything, a lot of new circuits, a lot of new content, a lot of new tracks. Does Premier Endurance League perhaps do for a little bit of fun Friday nights, go perhaps FIA cross car racing as well? That thing sounds like an absolute blast to be driving at this point in time. It's always an opportunity.
10 weeks at Winton. I'm there. Let's have a time. Go the rallycross circuit at Winton.
You are just coming up with reasons to get yourself kicked from the commentary box.
I love driving Winton, Scott. I love
driving Winton. Yes. Racing Winton, no, thank you.
I like racing there. I don't know. I'm an odd one sometimes. But yes. What I do hope for, actually, Scott, there is one thing I'm fairly sure of. I don't think we'll be racing at St. Petersburg next year in this series.
Yeah, that happened this year, by the way. that was over. As it's worthwhile pointing out, that was overdue. That was a bet that I waited, I think, about 4 or 5 months to actually follow through on. Broadcast colleague JP won 2 bets in his time here. So England 2, Australia 0 in terms of the bets on stream, unfortunately.
Yeah, but currently 3-0 on how many are in here. So,
yeah,
technically
something's just happened to a couple of cars rejoining. This was somebody trying to get out of the way and then gets nudged down in turn 1. Race leader Isaac Curtis is currently catching a couple lap cars as well. I think Ben Gorringe and Greg Heaney just let him go by. So he is still trying to work his way through traffic, which means that this one's not over.
What happened to the Mad Englishman? He had to refocus on some things in his life. So
I believe he was put out to pasture by.
Yeah. Not our story to tell, but it's one for James to tell at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm coming into pit lane at this stage of the race, so we're within nearly at the last 15 minutes of this one. Isaac Curtis leads the way in quite a dominant fashion. Rui Koistrup being put under pressure right now by Patrick Reardon, trying to chase down Matt Schmick here at this stage as well. Wilkinson's got himself into P10, up 3 positions in this race. Be interesting to see where Coleman actually comes out, because currently he is up about 30 positions and he's about to be up 29, make it 28, maybe even 27. Yep, King gets past 26, so he's about to come out of pit lane. 26 positions tonight for Owen Coleman. It's a very good effort from him to get into P18 on the road, but we can see the pressure that's being applied on Schmicky right now from Koistrup, all for P11, and they've got about a second and a half nearly up to Wilkinson ahead of them in the Corvette. And the intensity of these battles does not fade to the end of this race, to the end of this championship as well. And look at the gaggle of cars that Owen Coleman now finds himself in. He's come out right in the thick of it at this point of the race. Norman under pressure from Cat Eye. He's got Stapleton ahead as well. And just continuing on. Oh my God, I thought they were going to bang doors. Somehow they didn't. And they continue on. But some really good battling once again. Scott, have we heard any rumours about what tracks we may see in Season 1 of next year for PEL?
None.
Or we might have to poke at Leith's brain to get the answers out of him. Possibly. Find out for ourselves.
Happened to PJ Whiteman with an issue a couple of moments ago. That might have been that car down at actually turn 1. That probably would describe that one. But this battle pack is absolutely not going anywhere. I think there's a few cars down the road of Bobby Cameron that are going to run out of fuel. Alton Coleman's just come out of pit lane after his final stop of the season, just ahead of him. I think for Bobby, he has had a little bit of damage repaired, but I just don't think he knows that there's still a look on the nose of the Mercedes for him. Isaac Norman currently trying to hold off Owen Coleman to the end of this race, and Brock Cut-Eye's just ahead of the pair of them. Coleman's closing in on the Ferrari, but it's got some legs in a straight line. Pulls out, and we'll get the job done before turn 1. Norman, I think, knew that one was coming and didn't make too much of an effort to fight it too hard.
for Ben Wilkes, he last pitted on lap 42, so comparatively to Gretsch, he's definitely going to need another stop to get home.
Yeah, well,
yeah, and I'd say his stop's going to have to come on this lap or the next. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ben comes into pit lane on this next lap by, or possibly at the end of this one, as Bobby Camote sneaks up the inside of Norman down there as well, coming up towards the latter half chicane as well. Said earlier, my preferred layout of this track, Scott, is the one without the chicane on it, but it does offer up a good challenge to them all throughout the race, as Ben Wilkes is now in pit lane. Rook Oyster in as well, so final few stops are coming for these drivers. And the final time they'll run through pit lane for 2025 here in Premier Endurance League. Every league's coming to an end at this point for the year, Scott. We head over for a holiday break for whichever anyone celebrates, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it might be.
I've actually been talking and waiting for this moment, actually, just because this one's my final broadcast actually for 2025 as well. So,
I've got 3 more this week. I've got Monday morning, Thursday morning, and then Saturday night, and then I'm done for 2025. So
no, I'm very, very keen for a holiday. I tell you, it's been a very long year, and I'm keen to look. As much as I love broadcasting, for my life and everything that's happened over the last 18 months, I'm so keen to just put everything down and walk away and take the headset off for a while and just enjoy life a fair bit more. So for everyone out there, actually.
I had a very lazy day yesterday, Scott. I did pretty much nothing apart from some league admin stuff for pre-qualifying we're currently going through. Oh, it was a great day.
Whoa!
Great day. Yes, Bobby Camo's had a massive slide.
Just because it's supposed to be a white Christmas in Japan, Bobby, does not mean it's supposed to be a tire smoke white Christmas.
No. So Coates and Edwards are now in as well. But yeah, it was very nice to just have a relaxing day of doing absolutely sweet F all. It was so nice. So I'm looking forward to my break after this. I
was whacking a piece of leather around a park, is what I was doing yesterday, and sweating profusely. It was hot and muggy. We had a lot of rain here Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, it was hot.
Absolutely pouring down, and then hot, very hot on Saturday.
Oh yeah, yeah. The cold change was a nice welcome last night. It was wonderful. But what we are expecting is maybe some changes on the cars coming into 2026, of course. Before we do return for PL, we'll probably more than likely run through the Daytona 24-hour at least. We'll probably, more than likely, the series would start around about the Bathurst 12-hour, so we may not even experience the build of the cars that the 24-hour drivers will. And very likely we'll experience the build of the cars that the Bathurst 12-hour drivers will do. In saying that, they're going to have to run through 2 different GT special events for the first season. They'll be running through the Bathurst 12-hour and the Sebring 12-hour as well. So car choice could be key going into next season. And that could play a massive factor too. There is then also the possibility as well that there's a 3rd event in there that could also change it up as well as Matt Webber comes in. So it's looking to be a hotly contested start to the year, especially for special events drivers. I'm looking forward to the Raw. I love me some Raw before the 24 action. So it's going to be a grand old time for 2026.
Yep, for now, this is the battle we'll continue watching on board. I actually was just chatting away to crew chief Tom Wilkinson, and he said they are definitely good to make the end of the race on the fuel. So this one will be a battle on track for Matt Schmidtke. There's a few cars ahead of these guys who are still yet to pit. I can tell you Curtis has done his final stop. John Trott still yet to come with one more pit stop. Trent Allen has made his final stop. Will Buchanan has not. So currently this is effectively P3 on the track, but there are penalties to come the way of a couple of these guys as well. Schmidtke's actually not made his final pit stop either.
No, he hasn't at the moment. Just to give a quick rundown of the Challenger class as well. So Ben Wilkes leads the way. He has done his final stop at this race. Isaac Norman, P2. He does need one more stop to get home. And then Adrian Gretsch in P3, the respective champion of the Challenger class. He will look to take P2 on the road after Norman pits. Brant Tucker will be the projected P3 on the road after that. Greg Heaney is then in P5 at the moment. Pete Baxter, well, what could have been for him as Trent Allen's been off the road and had an incident. He is dropping positions at the moment. That will nail in the coffin stuff for his championship. As this is what happened to Trent. He was following John Trott. How has this happened to Trent? Oh, no. Oh, my God. If he had hit that curb, Scott, that could have been diabolical whilst that car was spinning around.
Can't believe it. Yeah, that's just happened to Trent as well at the back end of things. And that just changes that margin. That margin between himself and Isaac Curtis is now over 30 seconds. So again, if anyone out there is talking to Isaac, he doesn't need to press on anymore. He just needs to cruise this home. And he will be totally fine. So at the moment, he will just chill on the racetrack. I don't know that he knows. And sometimes it's better not to know that he doesn't have a lot to do. I went and did the math after qualifying. By the way, Trent Allen and Isaac Curtis, there was a margin of 3 points in favour of Trent Allen. First to second after qualifying is 3 points. It was dead heat at the end of qualifying for points. Look at that margin. Trent Allen qualified second. Isaac Curtis qualified on pole. There was 3 points, the difference between them after qualifying in terms of what they'd earned for the night. That made it a dead heat heading into the race. Whoever finished on the racetrack ahead was good enough to take the title. And Isaac Curtis has been quick, but he's been consistent tonight. They've both been on the same fuel strategy. I do question whether or not one of them should have thought about doing something in terms of the fuel strategy.
I mean, there's always that question of should they or could they have done something about it? And I think, sometimes it's just, you can't really predict what's going to come at the end of the race. I think for Curtis and Allen, they played the smartest game of staying out as long as possible. That worked out in their favour. Everyone else thought, well, we're getting a free pit stop, we're going to take it so early on. And that is the balancing act of endurance racing as we continue on with Gretsch battling away here. Up with Isaac Norman. Now, we do expect Norman to come back into pit lane for another stop in this race. So it's a foregone conclusion that Gretsch will pass him. It's whether he will pass him on the road or he'll pass him through pit stop strategy itself. But right now, it is Gretsch's to take in terms of P2 in his class. And right now, the predicted champion is doing everything he needs to take home that title for himself. But blinking and internet issues could have a part to play in the final 7 minutes of this race.
Will be an issue, I think, to the flag. Matt Webber's just had an issue and a slowdown penalty. He's still trying to clear, as has Austin Edwards, a couple spots in further behind him. Webber's still got that penalty. He still hasn't cleared it. And he needs to do that relatively quickly. He's now just done so. So finally gets that one out of the way. Interesting to note as well, Tom Wilkinson, don't forget, has a 15-second time penalty. John Trott has 5 seconds. Trott's still yet to give us one more pit stop. Tom Wilkinson, 15 seconds drops him back to 57 seconds away from the leader, which puts him about 2.5 seconds ahead of Brad Coates at the moment.
Importantly as well is we know that Schmidtke needs another stop. But Matt Webber is good enough to get home right now, so Webber can do it on his current strategy.
I think there is actually going to be a battle, albeit with a 15-second time penalty to come for all that actually third on track.
Well, Schmidtke is now in, so Matt Schmidtke into pit lane. And we'll traverse it for one final time. We are under 5 minutes to go with roughly 4 laps left here at Fuji Speedway. It's been an incredible season. 11 hours, 55 minutes we've gone racing this season in PEL. As Matt
There's
Webber,
a car parked up.
Yep.
On the inside of the final corner. There could be... No, there's 5 minutes to go. There's 5 minutes to go in the race. I don't necessarily think there's going to be another safety car.
Unless... but the only way they could do it is if they could do a one-lap safety car, but I don't think they can. He spun it on his own. And then he just pulled out in front of the traffic, so that's going to be a penalty for sure.
That'll be another penalty.
Yep. Yep, and that's not going to get looked at nicely from race control, but...
Ben Wilkes at the moment, he leads the Challenger class, and he does actually lead the Challenger class by a fair way currently. Isaac Norman sits in second spot in the Challenger class. But the problem for Isaac Norman is he is a fair way behind Ben Wilkes at the moment. I think it's about 5 to 10 seconds. John Trott's just gone back to pit lane as well.
He has for his very small splash. Hopefully he remembered to untick tyres. He did indeed. Out of pit lane he comes, just in behind Tom Wilkinson. Oh, is John still going to get P3? Although he's got a 5-second penalty, so no, he won't. Yeah. Matt Webber will still get him. So no matter what, Webber will be P3 unless John Trott can somehow break out 5 seconds away.
Something's happening at turn 1, because that's like the third car that's spun out recently.
What is there gravel down there or something? Like,
no, there's no gravel.
Happening?
I think it's marbles. I actually think it might be marbles.
Yeah.
So
it's
for now,
very weird.
This is the battle between Schmidtke and Stapleton. No, sorry, my apologies. Owen Coleman, who slides us on by Matt Schmidtke. 30 for Owen Coleman, 44th spot to 9th spot. He has done a phenomenal job in this race, 35 spot gains.
What a great effort from Owen. Just a
another
little shout out to him.
25-second time penalty has just been added to car 268 as well for the unsafe rejoin, which is Wilkinson. So he put a line through him. There is no potential for him to finish on the podium now.
Nope. And not even in the top 5. I mean, that's enough to drop him just ahead of Owen Coleman at this point as well. So that's a massive loss there for Wilco. For Isaac Curtis, he is 2 minutes, just under, away from the end of this race. We're going to get 69 laps, and that's even going to be overtime on the timesheet, actually, Scott. So we are going to get... actually, no, we're not. We're only going to go 68. We're not going to go 69. It's only going to be 68 laps. So that means that the fuel window is slightly shorter now than what it previously was determined to be. So 68, not 69. I was hoping we'd get the nice number, but apparently not. But it'll be 68 in the end for Fuji Speedway. 1 lap to go for Isaac Curtis as he traverses the final corner. And 1 more round of Fuji for him before he is crowned the elite champion. The only way he can lose it now is if he ends up off the road, he disconnects, or he somehow finds a nuclear facility here at Fuji Speedway.
4.5 kilometers remain for Isaac Curtis in 2025. Fuji Speedway, phenomenal racetrack to go racing at. Overtaking on the straights. You can use the downforce through the middle sector, but you need to have pace. Curtis did have pace last weekend during the Open Series. As we follow him as he tips it in through turn number 3 for the final time tonight. Navigates the curbs there nice and safely. This is a challenge point as well for the rear tyres, but the car has looked balanced. It's looked pointed all night. It doesn't look like he's put a foot wrong. Isaac Curtis for 2 hours around this place. And there have been a lot of drivers in the limited series who have had issues tonight from Fuji Speedway. 6 rounds have been the challenge for the drivers in both the limited and the open series for the back half of 2025. That was squished into a small subsection of the championship. It's created issues for drivers trying to get the racing done in time. From Silverstone all the way back on August 24th through the Bend, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, Motegi, and Fuji Speedway. The mountain sits in the background of this one. Brent Tucker's trying to have a go at Isaac Norman just in front of him. But for the final time, for Isaac Curtis, navigates the final corner. And he is going to be your champion. The Premier Endurance League, the Limited Championship. It came down to the final race of the series. It came down to the last time of asking. They entered the race. They entered the final 2 hours dead even on points, and Isaac Curtis led the vast majority of the race tonight. Fuel strategy was the only time he did not lead in what has been a dynamic and dominant performance over teammate Trent Allen. 40 seconds. The winning margin's going to be 40 seconds. You know, he could have taken a free pit stop if he felt like it. Fresh tyres, go and set the fastest lap of the race. He had room.
Could have stopped for maybe a little shot of Saki or
the challenge for Isaac Curtis next time is I think he's going to have to do the whole race on wets.
Yep, I agree. And if he still wins by 40 odd seconds, well, I don't know. Force him to do the Open Series, maybe. I don't know, Scott.
He might just get ejected at this point in time.
It's a championship, though, and it's a great win for him. Adrian Gretsch as well will come across the line momentarily to take home the Challenger class this season as well. Buchanan finishes inside of the top 10 tonight. It's a great effort from him. And it'll be Owen Coleman up 35 positions. Eat your heart out. That is a great effort from Owen Coleman. Matt Schmidt came out at the top 10. Trent Stapleton, P11. Rui Koistra down 3, unfortunately for him, in P12. The Kapotza, Ben Wilkes, wins it tonight for the Challenger class, but it will be Adrian Gretsch, who is the Challenger class champion at the end of 2025, as the celebrations have begun for AITT Revolution E-Racing. And for Isaac Curtis, dominance personified in this season of PEL.
What a season, what a championship. And the big part is, for everyone that's doing burnouts down at turn 1, I think there's just a number of cars that are just enjoying the moment. That is what solidifies what this series means to everyone. There's a number of AITT cars that are down there having some fun with it. But at the same time, I think it's about everyone enjoys going racing. Final confirmation of the race results. It was 26 thousandths of a second that separated Isaac Curtis from a winning margin of 40 seconds. Tom Wilkinson will come home in P3, but picks up a penalty that will drop him down there. I tell you what, the car that finishes 5th on the road is the car that's going to finish 3rd after those penalties that are applied. Matt Webber will jump a few spots and finish in 3rd. Brad Coates had a crack at things for the championship. There's every opportunity he might actually clear Will Buchanan in terms of points. That is a potential as well. Austin Edwards will finish out a 7th spot from Willie Buchanan. Owen Coleman inside the top 10 from out of the heavens. He started in 44th spot inside of the 10 for him. Matt Schmidtke, Trent Sableton, Rui Koistra recovers back to 12th spot as well. Luke Kapotza out of 13th. Then it's on to our Challenger class. Ben Wilkes, 14th for him. Brock Caddo also on a recovery effort here tonight. Also on the lead lap from Bobby Camo, who had damage for the vast majority of that race. Adrian Gretsch will take the Challenger Series Championship in 17th spot on the road to P2 on the night for him. Brant Tucker home in 3rd spot for the Challenger class, the first car 1 lap down. Outside of there, we get back to Isaac Norman from Jamie Saxon. Richard Mayer had some issues here tonight, unfortunately, for the Sud Speed outfit. Right Sim Racing's first entry will be Matt Carrick. I'm ahead of Rodney Golan. Peter Baxter led at points during this race, manages to finish 1 lap off the lead. He will be frustrated with the way that one went down. John Akers from Luke King, Greg Heaney, Ben Gurringe, Patrick Reardon, and Glenn Jones to round out the 30. Yeah, outside the 30, Alfonso Latella from Dale Atkins, Chris Ruddle, Stephen Mellis, Nate Coburn, Matt McKinley, PJ Whiteman, Ben Brook, and Ronald Long, and Martin Helen, the last car home in 40th, although he was 17 laps off the lead. We get into the list of retirements, so won't be scoring any points. Dean Reddit from Mark Foster, issues for both of those guys. James Mason, Packets Hughes, and Ricky Provenzali going to have issues. Jesse McMenamin, I don't necessarily think he might have taken the start. No, he was the car that was first over on his lead, so he did actually take the start of that race. Cars that didn't take the start were Kurt Chapman and Braden O'Loughlin, and a shout out to everyone from Rate. You know what? This is a great opportunity. We'll take the opportunity to thank everyone that participates. For the Lee admins, Leith McClimate and Ricky Provenzali, and then on to race control as well in Lee Williamson, Tim Lawson, and safety car drivers in RC, Lachlan Capel and Scott Bartain as well. There is a host of boys behind the scenes that make it all happen. So congratulations to all of those guys. There are a lot of guys that we can actually have a chat to at the end of this one. And I can tell you, your podium in the outright results after penalties have been applied. I think Matt Webber, I'm just going to take a quick look for his name on the penalties list. I think he's actually okay. And if that's the case, and indeed it is, he's not listed as eligible for a penalty of any sort. Your podium from tonight's race is going to be Isaac Curtis, Trent Allen, and Matt Webber.
Yep, John Trott's gone into the green room. Unfortunately for John, he didn't finish third.
No,
so
he thinks he might have.
John. He thinks he did. He can think that. Sorry, John.
But we'll start off. We'll actually go ahead and grab the front couple guys. In fact, actually, let's talk to our champion straight up. Let's get that one out of the road.
Ooh.
So it's going to be championship. Did you know, Isaac Curtis, at the end of qualifying, it was a dead heat on points, and it only mattered which one of you and teammate Trent Allen finished ahead of each other on the track?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that was kind of what was happening, so it was all just kind of go. And I mean, we didn't really speak about that kind of thing throughout the race. We just kind of pushed, and which seeing where we ended up, obviously the safety cars and that kind of thing helped out a bit, but it was a good race.
In terms of things, a lot of pace tonight. 40 seconds, the winning margin. Gee, it didn't feel like that. That first stint, Trent was actually able to stay right with you on that gearbox. I think the big thing that happened was just the traffic in some of those stints. Clearing traffic and getting the opportunity to run in clean air was just a big thing tonight, because Fuji's quite difficult to pass and then keep pushing on with your lap if you can get the pass done.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of it had to do with the traffic and just being able to get through it a little bit quicker compared to Trent. And I think Trent had a couple of little misfits in there as well. So that obviously didn't help as well. But I mean, our pace was pretty well bang on all season. We were, pretty much the exact same. So it was pretty good showing from the team, and I think something we should definitely be proud of.
Mate, Fuji, obviously over the last couple of weeks it's been challenging, but right now I'm getting the feeling you're sitting here and riding high and going, this is one of those better racetracks in the world. Yeah,
I really enjoy Fuji. I've been there in real life and watched Super Formula Lights racing there, and it's definitely one of my favourite tracks to drive. So it doesn't get a whole lot better than that, to be honest.
Mate, finally, I'll open the floor to you. Obviously a championship to celebrate at the end of this one, but who would you like to thank for getting it done? Because there's a whole host of you boys over at AITT Revolution.
Yeah, massive thanks to all the boys in the team. Mega pace all season from everyone. And obviously Ricky and all the boys for putting it on. Really appreciate that kind of thing as well. You guys for looking after us in the booth as well. It's awesome. So obviously AITT. I also want to give a sneaky little shout out to Damon Woods as well for giving a little bit of coaching throughout the week and helping me find a little bit more pace. So a bit of a shout out to him. And of course, just the AITT boys, all of our sponsors, Sud Speed, Kibby, IR Sidekick, Bunnies Builds, and Sure by 4. We really appreciate all your support, and thanks for letting us do what we do.
Mate, congratulations to you as well, and go off and enjoy and celebrate over the Christmas holiday period. Take a little bit of a break. I have bad news. I don't have confirmed bad news, but the bad news I think is I don't think you're getting invited back for the limited series in 2026. I think you might have just overstayed your welcome.
Oh, why not? My iRating's only 3,400. Come on, guys.
Mate, win a championship, and all of a sudden, I don't think iRating matters that too much. I think the big thing is, what a statement. I really like this drive from you tonight, because that's a huge statement. 40 seconds.
Thank you.
With a little bit of pace. Really good drive.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, obviously, it was, we did I think I did 450 laps or something in preparation. So obviously, and the race last Sunday definitely helped as well to see what the strategy was going to be. So it was a good one.
Congratulations, go off and enjoy it. I know there's going to be an absolute party. And if you do a shoey, make sure someone records it, brother.
I'll see if I can find a shoe and a beer and see what we can work out.
Best piece of advice I can give you: rinse the shoe thoroughly. That's the secret.
Yeah, I won't wear the one I just wore because that one is very sweaty.
Enjoy, brother. Absolutely enjoy. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, boys. Enjoy your night.
We're going to take one step down on the podium of not just the championship, but also the race at large as well. Going to talk to his teammate Trent Allen. Makes his way into the booth to have a chat to Hamish.
Well, Trent, a solid performance for yourself tonight. A late mistake when the race was pretty much decided and the championship was decided as well, so it didn't really affect you too much. But a long season, a tough season. just didn't quite get there in the end, but P2 in the championship and P2 on the road tonight is a solid performance from yourself. Talk us through it quickly.
Yeah, just congratulations to Isaac first, because he's had an incredible season. I really shouldn't have been in the shootout at the end there, the championship fight, because I didn't have the pace of him all year. Will got 2 wins. Isaac ended up with 3, so I was just the bridesmaid. So I was just happy to be there and support him. His pace is unreal.
I mean, consistency-wise, you're obviously one of the more consistent drivers in the field this season, and that paid off with you obviously being in the top 3 of the championship and leading the championship into this race. How did you find the race start? Obviously, I mean, it was very chaotic early on, then it kind of settled in. A lot of drivers were struggling with rear end grip, especially in those Mustangs. They were trying to rotate them around. What were some of the struggles you were having to deal with in terms of obviously keeping the mentality clear, but also keeping the car as clean as possible as well?
Yeah, I think strategy-wise as well, we weren't really sure what to do with those first 2 safety cars. And that sort of threw us. And then from there, we were just sort of catching up because we were on a different strategy to everyone else. But yeah, the car didn't feel like it did in practice. It never does. And it was just hanging on. So yeah, and like I said, it was more just sticking behind Isaac. But all of us were focused on John Trott the whole time because that was our main rival. So it was more just about getting ahead of him, and whoever was first doing that, then so be it.
Is there ever a case where the car feels the exact same in practice in the race? I don't know if I've ever found that. I mean, that's
never. But it's a good excuse.
I suppose it's probably an easy one as well. But no, solid season from yourself though, Trent. Congratulations on P2 in the race tonight in the championship as well. You've had a great run this season. We look forward to seeing how you go into 2026. Let us know anyone you want to give a shout out to, any friends or family who may be watching, or any of the team sponsors as well that you want to give a shout out to as well tonight. I don't with your performance.
I don't think any family or friends are watching, but I'll give you a shout out to our sponsors as AITT, Kibby, Sudspeed, IR Sidekick, Shore by 4. Yeah, thanks for supporting us, and then bring on next year.
You should tell them that you came second in the championship and you're planning to win it next season. That might get the friends and family watching along. But
yeah, I think it's because I won last season. They're over it.
I see. Yeah. They're probably glad right now. The conversation's not going to be happening on the Christmas table come a couple of weeks' time. So.
Yeah, that's it.
Congratulations, Trent. Well done this season. Best of luck in 2026, and thanks so much for coming and have a chat to us.
Thank you, gents. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. All right. I need to ask you, Scott, are we going to interview third in the championship in John Trott, or are we going to let him sit there in silence?
Yeah, he did finish third in the championship. We've got bad news for him in the final race results, but hey, we'll get an opportunity to have a quick chat to John at the end of things, buddy. I got bad news for you that third place on the racetrack isn't actually third place on the racetrack. 5-second time penalty for exiting a closed pit lane exit. But what we do know is third place in the championship for you, man. I know it's been a challenging one. It come into tonight. There was less than 20 points covering the 3 of you. And realistically, I think that's one that you'll sit there and go, that probably got a little bit away from me tonight. But it was a scramble fest in strategy on the racetrack. Pace was reasonable, but man, Isaac was quick tonight.
Yeah, Isaac was rapid. I knew coming into the weekend that I wasn't going to be quick enough, but I didn't know about the 5-second penalty though. That's I mustn't have been paying attention. That's all right.
I believe it was closed pit lane exit under the second safety car. I have a feeling that's when it was. Yeah. So, on that one. Either way, I think a positive season for you. And I know obviously you've been in and around and supporting the team throughout all of the Open Series racing. It's an opportunity for you to come and show your wares over here in the limited series and do a fair bit of racing. You've enjoyed things at least this season and being on board the BMW. A lot of power potentially coming the way of the BMW with a little bit more of the updates the car's received over the last week, but just not to be tonight.
Yeah, I think the power change real big thing was just the I think it has less slow down speed. I can't remember what it's called.
Engine braking?
Yeah, less engine braking. I think that was really the major change for it. I noticed I was braking a little bit earlier than I was in practice, but otherwise the baby's been good. But I think I'm going to put it back in the garage and I might come out in the Mustang next year.
We'll have to see how the balance of performance shifts into the new year, mate. Finally, congratulations on P3 in the championship. Who'd you like to give a thank you to?
I just want to thank Stewie. He was my engineer for today. He really helped with the setup as well. All the boys at OPR, they helped last week before that race to try and get me into a good spot, a good race time, sorry. And then also sponsors simrigs.com, Palmerston Bakery, Distraction Sim Suppliers, DSM Painting and Decorating, and Ground to Earth. Thanks, guys. And you guys
Mate,
as well.
Yeah, congratulations, brother. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you. You too.
We'll take a step down to final race results from the Challenger class as well. We're going to grab our race winner from Challenger for the final race of the year in Ben Wilkes. Ben, it was a challenging year. Certainly for you, obviously, we were talking at different points, a little bit of safety car drama and that sort of stuff. But I think the big thing for you is the pace has been positive. It's just been about keeping the car clean. Whenever you've kept that car clean and you've run a reasonable race, it's been a quick one.
Yeah, it has. First of all, yeah, welcome. Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, it's been a very interesting rookie season for me. A lot of very steep learning curves. So.
Yeah.
But hopefully get better next year, just a bit more consistent, and really start to understand the, I guess the fine points of some of the racing rules.
Look, I mean that's the challenging thing, isn't it? Is simulator racing. The challenge of it is that not all of us, we're all rookies, really, when we first pick things up. But look, I think for you, getting in and behind the wheel of things and then also doing it in a league environment with 50 cars out on the racetrack is a challenging thing. So not only to do that, to have the troubles with race control, to get through those sorts of things, you've come a grief with that side of things. Would you sit there and say, okay, look, I've learned a lot, but was it a positive experience along the way? Because you've got to have room to grow and develop those skills.
100%. It's been an amazing year. It's a fantastic league, very well run, and huge shout out to Rick and the boys. They took the time to sit down and talk to me about the various things and the incidents and how they assess them. So I could certainly learn from those things. The safety car was particularly a big one. I'm a solo racer. I obviously represent Cobalt Racing, but I don't have any other partners in this thing. So it's certainly not a matter of trying to help teammates. It's a lot going on in the cockpit at various times. So,
mate, the challenge I think around Fuji here was obviously trying to make that Porsche quick. Recently, it did get an update for a little bit of less drag towards the top end, which has helped that thing tonight. Where were you feeling with car comfort around here, particularly given we had so many guys struggling with sausage curbs throughout the night?
Yeah, the Porsche, I race this all the time anyway, so it's very, very good at riding those curbs, as long as you're sort of pretty smooth on the throttle. But it's major strength through under the brakes. So I think I caught Adrian a couple of times at the end of the run there and was able to outbrake him going around into turn one. So as long as I can get through those twisty parts, the Porsche is pretty good. But yeah, it'll definitely get eaten up along the straights.
Finally, who would you like to give a thank you and a shout out to at the end of season 2025?
Firstly, just to the league, thank you very much for running a fantastic competition, and to all the competitors. It's been a great and fun season. To Cobalt Racing for allowing me to represent them, and then to my family, my wife and my kids. It's obviously a lot of hours being put into this, and I couldn't do it without their support. And thank you to you guys for a fantastic call.
Mate, congratulations on at least a couple phenomenal results out on racetrack along the way. And, well, the biggest benefit for you next season is that gives you the opportunity. You've done all the learning this season. Maybe next season might be the opportunity to try and win the championship. Yeah,
hopefully. I'll definitely be back and give it my best start. So thank you very much, guys.
Right, we'll take one step down in terms of our podium finishes for the Challenger class. And Hamish Munro is standing by with championship winner Adrian Gretsch, who didn't run out of gas in this one.
Why am I meant to comment on that? there was a lot of people running out of gas on that last lap, and I was having a little smirk to myself. But especially with Isaac, he was doing so well for that second spot, and I was on him, and I thought I've run out of time here, and all of a sudden I passed him on that first corner, and he just backed off, and then my teammate Ron just yelled out, "Isaac's out! He's out of gas! He's out of gas!" So yeah, we've moved on. It's a long time ago, boys.
Oh, no, we haven't. We're never moving on.
yeah, I know.
No,
all right. Fair enough.
Adrian, I heard the new GT package for the AMG has fuel canister holders onto it, and I think that's perfect for you for next season, surely. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's a great car. It's a great car. I would stick to it, but we have our little debates, the Alpine Pro boys, and I do deliveries and they choose the cars. So I don't know what will be in next, but yeah.
I mean, you drove very, very well though this season, of course. A championship next to your name as well. If you can pinpoint actually, no, two-part question. Is there any point in the season you felt the championship's yours? And if you did, obviously aside from the checkered flag at the end of this race, can you pinpoint that moment in time in which you felt you can either win this or you have already won it as long as you keep yourself clean?
Look, the serious side of it is I just kept myself clean. I think that's the key. 2-hour races, and if you are in that top 10 area, top 15, but top 10, and you've got a lot of the elites around you, you get to know who's who. And if you can stay out of trouble, don't try and race them, let them through, and use them as your little pacemaker, so to speak. That side of it. Now, the non-serious side was after Silverstone when I think it was Luke beat me, but he had a 10-second penalty, so that was my first win. And he got promoted up to elite. So he was in elite after that, and I stayed in Challenger, and I did get a private message saying you should go up to elite, but I managed to stay in Challenger, and yeah, the rest is history. I did a DNF, I think, at Watkins, but I was lucky, and then Mark beat me previously with it, but he had a 10-second penalty. So look, consistency was my key. That's it. Just clean racing.
I think it often is, and I think majority of the time it's often the most consistent drivers that can win themselves a title. I mean, Isaac was consistent with his race wins and also his performances. That's ended up in a championship for him. You were consistent as well, and that's worked out for you in the end in terms of winning a title as well. 2026, how are you feeling now after obviously winning the championship? What does it change any of your goals for next year, or does it let you sort of reevaluate what 2026 is going to look like for you, or is it going to be business as usual and push on and see what happens in the new year?
Yeah, I think business as usual and just push on. I think myself and Ron and Matt, the Alpine boys, we just love it and have a lot of fun. We're not really too serious and knowledgeable about racing cars, but I think we'll just push on. If I go up to elites, this will be the last time I get to talk to you guys. So I've enjoyed this season, and it's been great fun. Nice to have a win.
You never know, anything can happen. Anyone can get on the podium on their day, and any amount of carnage could lead to that happening. So who knows? But Adrian, congratulations on your championship win and all your success this season as well. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go this evening?
Yeah. Well, again, thanks to you guys. It's always good fun. I watched the Open broadcast last week and sat there, and it's just great to see it on the big screen in your lounge room, and the broadcasting's fantastic. You do a great job, so thanks. And obviously, PEL is a great league since it formed, and Ricky and Lee and all them. It's really good, and the sponsors do a lot for it. So thanks to them, and thanks everyone.
Well, thank you so much, Adrian. Congratulations. We hope you enjoy the holiday period and the new year as well, and we look forward to seeing you back in 2026.
Yeah, definitely. And Merry Christmas to all. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, Adrian. Well, next up, we have our P3 on the road here tonight as well in Brant Tucker. Brant, congratulations. P3 in the race this evening. A lap down on the race leader, but a solid performance from yourself in the end. Good solid chunk of points as well. How's the confidence after that one?
Look, I'm a little bit snaky about what happened with the leader on the last lap, but anyway, that is what it is. That was a good race. I did a 10-hour workday, joined the sim remotely from the middle of nowhere. Didn't qualify. I think I did a 42, so just a systems check, and then somehow ended up in P3. So that was unexpected, but a thoroughly enjoyable race. Had some good battles, made some good moves, kept out of the absolutely insane first 15 minutes. And yeah, not a bad way to end the final race of the season for Challenger.
Well, we saw you running around with your teammate, Brock Caddy, sort of in the mid part of the race as well. How was the sort of internal conversations between you guys while you're running around? Was it sort of sunshine and rainbows, having a laugh, or were you guys fighting each other tooth and nail for position, or just maybe trying to help each other on the road getting forward?
No, they were elite, so I just let the boys go and just tagged on behind them. Used them kind of as a draft train and as a way to get any positions if they made them up. But I think ultimately I kind of stayed fairly stagnant. Unfortunately, yeah, Brock didn't have such a good race, and I know Luke had a couple incidents as well, so unfortunate for those boys. But yeah, we were just talking shit really. Just hanging out. There was no real team orders not to overtake, but we're also kind of switched on enough to know that there's no point in me trying to race the other two boys when they're slightly faster than me, so I'll just utilize that to my advantage where I can.
I think the fact that you logged into the session remotely whilst you were still at work or on your way home means there's no excuse for anyone to miss a race because of work from now on when work is finishing right before you manage to get into the session, you manage to get a good race in, up 25 into P18. It's a solid effort.
Google Chrome has a cool desktop remote viewer access app thing, and I managed to launch the sim from my phone. So it was actually, PC has to be on, obviously, but yeah, it was actually quite handy. Being in the middle of nowhere with a little bit of reception and logging on. So yeah, no, overall good race. Very happy with it. Curious to see what that does to the limited standings with me, because I think I was in 7th. So yeah, I know that Fozzie checked out and a couple of the Frog Leap boys weren't there, and I'm only 100 or so behind them. So yeah, should be hopefully a top 5 championship finish for me in limited, which is solid. I'll take it.
A very good performance from yourself, Brant. Congratulations on your efforts tonight. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to who may be watching out there before we let you go this evening?
Absolutely. First of all, Google Chrome Remote Access Desktop Viewer, coming clutch. But on a more serious note, all the boys at TriStar, Dean for the phenomenal setup again, being the setup goat that he is. Lukey and Brock for their efforts tonight. And our amazing sponsors, Astro Energy and Chimera Creative for as always, the outstandingly different looking TSR paints that we have on the grid these days.
Well, thank you so much, Brant, for coming over to chat to us. Best of luck into 2026. We hope you have a happy and safe holiday period and into the new year as well. And we appreciate your time here this evening.
You too, lads. Have a safe Christmas, and to all the viewers as well, have a safe and Merry Christmas. Eat lots, drink lots, and be merry.
No worries. Thanks so much, Brant. Well, I look forward to that Team Viewer or Google or that Google sponsorship on those cars next season, Scott, that have helped Brant race here tonight. But what a race and what a season it's been. 2025, consider it signed off. Consider it signed off for Scott Rankin. Fuji Speedway delivered once again with a fantastic race for us. And we look ahead now to the new year and into 2026 and what sort of landscape we could be looking at for the Challenger and Elite classes as well. This season, it went the way of Isaac Curtis and Adrian Gretsch. Next season, who could it go for? Well, only time will tell. And the best way to find out is by getting on the track and signing up for next season of Premier Endurance League with the Limited and Open Series returning in 2026. You guys can be a part of it as well. Big shout out to the series sponsors, of course, Dash Off-Road, 4x4 Parts, Sud Speed Gloves as well, Sim Racing and Focus Podcast 2. And everyone out there watching along with us, as well as Kibi Graphics as well. If you are new here, you've been here for a little while and you haven't done so already, the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon too, so you're notified whenever we go racing right here with Premier Endurance League action. I've been Hamish on with Scott Rankin. Scotty, thanks so much for being with us once again this season.
Yeah,
I look forward to next season. What a year.
What a year. Yeah, 100%.
Fantastic.
Everything. It's been an interesting one. We've seen the rain, we've seen, shine, we've seen changeable conditions, we've seen safety car dramas, we've seen cold side dramas, we've seen hot tire spins, we've seen mistakes, we've seen fuel strategies, we've seen it all. That's the benefit, ladies and gentlemen, of the Dash Off-Road GT3 Limited Series on behalf of Premier Endurance Racing. Ladies and gents, that is going to bring us a wrap at the end of the season, on behalf of Premier Endurance League, on behalf of all the commentary team, on behalf of the league and the sponsors, we thank you very much for joining us. We hope we will see you on track at some point in 2026. For now, we say congratulations to our champions, Isaac Curtis in the elite class, Adrian Gretsch in the limited class, and Damon Woods, who took out the Open Series title last week. Will you count yourself among the fastest drivers in Premier Endurance League Challenge next year? Well, there's only one way to find out. Sign up, keep an eye on the socials, and we'll see you all in 2026 when we go endurance racing once more.